be activated from the non-football injury list by Tuesday's 4 p.m. Eastern Time deadline. That makes him ineligible to play at least the first 4 games of the season due to an ankle injury. He'll be moved to the reserve non-football injury list before Tuesday's deadline.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Monday to everybody on a beautiful day outside. We've got a lot of baseball conversation coming your way. We'll talk some Seahawks as well. Rowland-Smith will join us for his weekly conversation at 3 o'clock. Jon Morosi, the same. His weekly conversation coming up at 5 p.m. today. You guys can text in throughout the show, 866-979-3776. I would imagine most people feeling a bit better after the series this week. It's an A's team that's not good, but a young team that's capable and throwing a couple of lefties at a team that has not handled lefties well. You were able to beat one, lose to one, so you take the series. The Astros finally lose a game, so you gain a game on them, and now you welcome a very good team to town in the San Diego Padres. So this is going to be a very interesting series and a lot of good things happening in these games. Obviously, Cal Raleigh setting the record for home runs for a catcher at 49 now, passes Salvador Perez, who set his record back in 21 of 48 home runs. But amazing. He did it in one game, 2 home runs, and then you also had a career high in strikeouts. He was on the other end of that with Logan Gilbert with 13. So just a huge day for Cal, huge weekend for the team.
Yeah, and for the Mariner organization as well, because I think that Logan Gilbert is going to be the next guy that they extend. And for those two guys to have, history made in, and it's just a personal history for Logan Gilbert, but, for Cal, I mean, just awesome that those two, they've done a good job of identifying, like, who are the guys, the core guys that we're going to keep around, and they pay them. And, and like Julio Rodriguez is a great example. Like, he's a guy that made it through all of that, the slumping and everything. His personality has never changed. Like, I feel like and look, this is just me projecting, but I think Logan Gilbert's going to be the next guy they lock up to a long-term deal. And I feel like they get the right guys, and those are 2 of them, 2 best friends and just, awesome history being made yesterday. That was really nice after that road trip that was, kind of depressing a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. It was a disaster. So this was much needed. There was a lot of negativity coming out of that road trip and a lot of concern. And I think this is a big step in sort of putting that in the rearview mirror. Obviously, if they beat a team like the Padres, who are sitting there atop the NL West, it has a different level of gravitas to it, if you will. But Cal Raleigh just delighting the crowd, getting the building just absolutely rocking with his 48th and then his 49th home run of the season.
And now here's Cal Raleigh, fresh from setting the major league record. Tight and swinging a drive deep to left field. More history. Goodbye baseball off the out-of-town scoreboard. Cal Raleigh with his historic 49th home run of the year. Cal has hit more home runs than any catcher in the history of the game of baseball.
It was huge for him. It was huge for the team because Cal individually, he's been scuffling in August. It's not been a good month for him. And going into that game, he was 1 for his previous 19 with 10 strikeouts. So there was just a lot of whiff, a lot of swing and miss. He just looked off. It's just not been a great month overall, but then for him to have that kind of game is absolutely huge.
Yeah, and I heard some guys on MLB Network this morning talking about average and how much that means, and that you're a consistent ball player. But I mean, you look at where Cal is. His OPS, I think, is 3rd in Major League Baseball. And, and also what he's doing behind the plate and everything. But the other thing is, I was looking at Salvador Perez's splits, and, he hit 15 of those 48 home runs as a DH, and Cal only 9 as a DH. the vast majority of his home runs, which is 40, is him behind the plate. And so, and I'm not, sort of knocking down Sal Perez. I mean, I just think
feel like you're about to.
Yeah, I think it's more of a, I don't know, him beating him in that way, and then just how much it just kind of brings home how much he does as far as, as a player. I mean, how many games has he sat out so far? Is it like,
I think 3?
3? Yeah, and I just feel
4?
like he is always
3.
there. So, yeah, and, the fact that only 9 of them were DH home runs, which is cool. I mean, we'll take them however we can get them, but it still just kind of brings back the fact that he's getting those home runs after having squatted with all the gear. So, love that.
Yeah,
love that record.
It's a huge record. I mean, it's just a unbelievable season for him. We'll talk more about what does it result in an MVP and all of that, but just in the short term, he talked about how it felt to set that record in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, obviously, our fans are amazing, and to do it here, obviously, do it anywhere would be really special, but to do it here in front of the fans and to give them that and see the appreciation was a really cool moment, on top of, obviously, a really good game.
Yeah, it was cool to see him to go out there and get the curtain call and see his teammates kind of push him out there because he's a reluctant star. He's very reluctant. He's not an attention grabber. He's not a guy who's got some crazy dance around the bases when he hits a home run or he's a very to himself humble guy who's out there just having a magical season. So it's not in his nature to run out there and hey everybody praise me, but he deserved it. They're chanting MVP. He doesn't even hear it. He talked about it after the game. Didn't even catch that they're chanting MVP.
Yeah.
So he's just his personality is amazing, and that it hasn't faltered. It hasn't changed at all during all of this, with all of the attention of the season, the home run derby, everything that's gone along with his season. Could change a lot of players out there, and he's remained exactly who he's been.
It sounds like you love Cal Raleigh.
Love Cal Raleigh.
Yeah.
I just don't love him in the way you do.
Everybody loves him.
Everybody loves Cal.
He's, as you said, he's remained the same person character-wise. And, and just think about that for pitchers and managing the rotation, and same thing with, the bullpen and everything. Just knowing that you have such a steady character, like he's never going to have an emotional outburst, and you're never going to have to worry, if he's going to show up to work in a bad mood or anything. I mean, he's just a very solid person as well as player. And it just kind of, he really reflects like his personality when you talk to him. After, 10 or 15 minutes, you realize like this is the same guy that's on the field. And so that's what I think, that consistency is why the Mariners locked him up. And then, we all know that he could have gone to free agency and, when he was up and available, and made a lot more money, especially the season that he's having now. And
potentially, depending on where he's at, because I think wasn't he going to be 31 when he became free? I mean, you never know physically where he's at, but.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, if you look at his history, I mean, he's been solid as far as the injuries and, most of the stuff he just plays through. So, yeah, I mean, I love that that he wants to be in one place for a long time, and I think that might be part of why his year has been so special, is because he's locked up in one place, knows where he's going to be, and I think during the offseason is the time when you look at a contract as far as a player goes, but once it starts, you don't think about that anymore. Once the season starts, and and I feel like that's got to have some kind of for him in the offseason, kind of a good solid anchor for him, knowing he's going to be here for a long time.
Yeah, I'm just marveling at they're showing batting practice for the Mariners there. They just cut away from it, but it's Josh Naylor in the cage wearing his hockey jersey / sweater with his ski cap, and it's 85 degrees outside, and he's out there in full garb.
He's
taking
Bob
cuts.
Condota.
Goodness, man.
Is that one of those things now, kind of like the players are calling it a locker room, and it used to be like you don't know baseball, if you don't call it a clubhouse. And is the whole sweater thing going back to jerseys?
I don't know. I had somebody that was texting us from Canada correcting me, going, "It's a jersey," and I'm like. All I know is the hardcore hockey fans corrected me anytime I called it a jersey. They said, no, it's a sweater.
Yeah.
And then that person said, well, I'm telling you, I'm in the deep area of blah, 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 Canada, and I grew up with this sport. It's a jersey. I'm like, okay. I don't personally care. This is for you hockey hardcores out there. The sweater, jersey, y'all know what I'm talking about.
You know how people call it you don't know ball?
Yeah.
Is that an example of you don't know puck?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's apropos.
But, I was just watching again the interview that you had with JP, which you did a great job because we kind of had a delay when I was in Green Bay. And just him talking about Naylor.
Thinking he hated him.
Funny, man. He was like, yeah, I thought for sure he hated me.
Yeah.
This guy hates me, and I'm not going to say another word to him.
Not sure what I did to him. Why does he hate me? He won't talk to me. But yeah, he's a different guy, and he's out there in the heat of the summer in that hockey jersey sweater and the ski cap, the knit cap up there. So he's cooking. Meanwhile, Dan Wilson just reflecting on Cal, and if anybody can appreciate what Cal's done, it's Dan Wilson, obviously. He played the position. He knows the demands. He knows the beating you take, the wear and tear of just being a catcher and achieving what he's doing is not lost on Dan Wilson.
Well, I mean, I think we're seeing that he's starting to set a bar that's, equal to nobody else that's done this. And that's the newsworthy part of this thing is, it's getting to a point where you can't compare him to anybody, and he just keeps pushing that bar higher. We've got plenty of season left, and I'm sure it's going to get pushed even higher. And again, it's all because of a desire to win and be the best player and the best teammate he can be, and that just again speaks to the humility that he has.
Yeah, it does. It's who he is. It's amazing that he. Assuming he's going to hit 50-plus home runs, he's one away, so it'll be the first time a catcher has ever hit 50 home runs when he hits that mark. And I think the only other position, I was reading this over the weekend, I think the only other position that doesn't have a 50 home run season ever is second base. I think that's accurate. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I read that over the weekend that it's catcher and second base.
Yeah.
And every other position at some point in baseball history has had a 50-plus home run season.
Yeah, it makes sense for second base, right? You're going to be a smaller, rangy guy, right?
You're typically not a guy with a ton of pop.
And so, and then for catcher, it's like, you're beat up, man. You're not going to. So, I mean, his health has been really remarkable, and Dan also knows that better than anybody. But it's really nice. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Yeah, it was great for him, great for the team. Desperately, I mean, we're counting these games down, 31 games to go. And as you watch the standings, they change every single night, whether you're looking at the wild card or looking at what's going on in the division. So every game just means the world. Meanwhile, they got a little spark back with Victor Robles being called up. That happened after we were off the air. He gets called up. He's played in 2 games, and so far in each game, he's come up with a base hit.
The stretch and the pitch, the Robles swinging a line drive into the gap. In left center field, Garver will score. Polanco running third, being waved in. Soderson's throw to the plate, way up the third base line. McIver has to go get it. Polanco will score. Victor Robles with a 2-run single, and the Mariners now lead the Athletics 7-1. Welcome back, Victor Robles.
So great to see him back in the lineup, and then he had a play in the outfield that made me a bit nervous because he laid out for a ball and had that arm extended, the left arm, and that's the one he hurt in the net, and a fantastic defensive play.
Here comes the 0-2. Swung on, crushed, right center field. Robles back, he makes a dive in the gap, he's got it! Victor Robles, a diving catch. He goes sliding on the grass chest first. Victor Robles is back. A tremendous diving catch, and that is the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the A's. We are still tied as we go to the bottom of the 7th.
That was a moment I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Because you're fully extended, and I dislocated my shoulder doing that exact same thing as a teenager. So I don't know how fragile that shoulder is. Is it 100%? Is it 90? It was like, he's clearly got no fear. When he's out there, game on. That's it.
I love that. And was that his first game or second game back as a big leaguer since the injury?
That was the first one.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
because, I mean, people were complaining about him. Why would he dive into the wall or whatever? And, like, he's one of those guys that can't help it. It kind of reminded me of the way he was laid out there, kind of like Witherspoon. He hurt himself that way as well, where, he was stretched out, knocked a pass down, and falls on his ribs. And you look at Robles, and he's just entirely fearless, and he has one singular objective, and that's catch the ball. And I love that about him. So, yeah, it was kind of a I all of a sudden turned the game on yesterday, and I was like, wait, Robles? He's back? So, really nice. And when I saw that injury, I was like, there's no way he makes it back this year. No way. And so, his toughness, and hopefully at least, his appeal gets it knocked down a little bit from 10 games.
Still have no idea when we're going to hear on that. Nobody seems to have any definitive feeling as to, that happens within a week, happens within 2 weeks, 5 days. Nobody has, it could pop up any moment now, or maybe it's a week from today. I have no idea. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, since there's really no precedent for what he did and in the way of punishment. So no idea what's going to happen there. As people on the text are pointing out, yeah, great to have him back. Couldn't lay down a simple bunt on Saturday. I can't defend the attempt. It was terrible. I can't. I even had Jon Morosi texting me after that moment.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
There was nothing negative from Morosi, was there?
It kind of was.
Oh.
Kind of was. He made it a point to say, I'm not going to put this out there on Twitter, but, he had some questions about the attempt. It's just not a skill set that many big leaguers seem to have. Luke Raley's got it. Luke Raley was on deck, and they pulled him back and sent Robles up there, and he kind of stabbed at the ball, which is not how you do that, but it popped it straight up in the air. So it was bad. I can't defend it. It was bad.
I wonder if people also think that, like, you would have a better chance of getting a bunt if you're Joe Blow, like me.
Yeah.
Where you're not a baseball guy or whatever, but I would probably have a way, way better chance of making contact with the ball. Bunting,
probably.
Yeah. And I think hitting big league pitching is the hardest thing to do. But, when you put the bat out there, and it seems easier, I'm sure it's hard. But, I think that's where the criticism must come from, because most people are like, I could bunt. And I'm like, well, maybe you could.
The guy throwing 95, 90, whatever the guy was throwing. I can't remember who was pitching at the time, but there's movement on the ball. I'm not saying it's easy, but these guys are the best in the world. Yeah. And the reality is they spend zero time practicing that. They step into the cage to take their cuts, and literally the first 2 pitches, I think they throw down the obligatory bunt, and then they go to hitting. So it's just not something that gets practiced a lot, and not many guys are good at it, as we've all seen. His return, though, does result in the removal of Dylan Moore from the lineup. And he was DFA'd, and then he was given his unconditional release for the purpose of granting him his release from waivers. So he doesn't report to Tacoma. He is out there to be had by any team. And I would imagine he'd probably get picked up. He's a veteran that can play multiple positions. He's obviously in a disastrous slump, but I could see somebody kicking the tires on him and saying, hey, let's just bring in this veteran bat, new scenery. Maybe he's a guy we could use as a late-inning defensive replacement, or, how the Mariners used him. But Dylan Moore's tenure with the Seattle Mariners comes to an end, which is as bad as he's been, and it's been really bad. He's a guy that's had a lot of good moments with his team, has been a solid player. He's not an everyday player. He's not an all-star. But he's had some big moments for this team, and he was the longest-tenured member of the team until this point.
And he was a Gold Glover as a utility guy last year, and he had, I want to say, 6 errors up to this point. But
it's been bad all the way around.
But man, it's just remarkable if you go look at his game log, and that he's had 1 hit per month the last 3 months. And a lot of times when you look at guys, you go, all right, either he's in the most horrible slump ever, or this is the end for him. And so I don't know. Is it the end for Dylan Moore? I'm curious.
In maybe baseball or here?
Yeah, just in baseball in general.
No, he'll get another job.
But, is it going to continue at this rate or at this pace?
I mean, I can't imagine. I don't know. It seems impossible to do worse. What is he going to go for the next 3 months he plays? I mean, it's going to be.
That would be the only option.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of opportunities he gets. We'll see who takes a chance on him, but I would imagine you'll see him on another roster out there. Meanwhile, Seahawks are kicking off the regular season next weekend. Today's the last day you can enter to win 4 tickets to watch the Seahawks game on September 7th. All you need to do, open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, just text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776. We'll send you a link to download it. Totally free, so that's how you go about winning those tickets. Let's take 2.
All right, start of a pivotal week tonight because the Mariners will face another lefty starter. It's former A's pitcher J.P. Sears. He was part of that trade that sent Mason Miller over to the Padres as well, so that's a guy to watch out for, late game scenario. This series is pretty critical because the Astros tomorrow start a 10-game homestand. The first 3 are against the Rockies.
Ugh.
Bummer.
Yeah, that is a big bummer. Yeah, this is a good test of the Mariners, man. You win this series. There's no caveats. There's no but this, or it's not impressive because of that. If you take 2 of 3 in this, or even 3 of 3, which I don't imagine will happen, but 2 of 3 is realistic. It says a lot about where this team is. And the Astros, hopefully they. I don't think any team overlooks any other team, but it'd be kind of cool if they did. And the Rockies stung them out there.
Yeah, I mean, they got swept by Detroit, and then they lost the series to Baltimore, a 3-game series, and then they took 3 of 4 from Baltimore. I would love nothing more than to see them just get hammered by the Colorado Rockies. But, that's probably I wouldn't bet on it.
No.
But it'll be fun to watch, and especially if they get beat by the Rockies, it'll be very entertaining.
Well, one big contract dispute ended earlier today, the Commanders and Terry McLaurin, and it sounds like just about minutes ago, the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson might have come to a deal. Ian Rappaport says they're close. Adam Schefter is just reporting right now that they've agreed to a 1-year raise, so he'll get a $14 million salary bump this year, and is still going to be an unrestricted free agent next year. But he has somewhat of a framework of a deal. So Hendrickson is done, and then Terry McLaurin got a 3-year deal worth up to $96 million, according to Ian Rappaport, the $30 million signing bonus.
Hendrickson's getting a $14 million raise.
So this tweet from Adam Schefter came out literally 50 seconds ago. So we'll see what actually then gets parsed out and the extreme financials of it. But he said the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson have agreed to a $14 million raise for this year. Jeez. So salary will be $30 million in 2025, and he's still going to be an unrestricted free agent after this season.
Wow. Good on him.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I would love to see what the rest of the NFL thinks about him. And I'm rooting for him. I mean, we don't cross paths with the Bengals this year, and I would love to see him. I want him to win over the Cincinnati ownership. I want him to win.
Yeah. And
boy, you look at McLaurin, that guy was a 3rd-round pick. And you look at his numbers, man, also going
productive.
1,000 yards for 5 years in a row. His rookie year, he had 919 yards, but well-deserving of the $96 million.
Take 2 is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Well, the Mariners did well, but how did we fare in our predictions? We'll listen back to our Call It Now segment. That is coming up with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Historic cow. Are you buying it? You like that? Historic
cow. Brock and Salk.
It sounds too much like Dangerous. That's my problem.
Morning 6 to 10.
Can you get to 54 to tie Mickey Mantle or pass him at 55 for switch hitting home runs in a season? Can you get to 56 or 57 to tie or pass Junior?
For me, it would be Griffey. Hitting in the Kingdome for those years, a totally different era from pitching. I think even Ken would go, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Only on Seattle Sports.
Well, I've heard from some of you over the text line out there when we talk about pain, living with pain. Maybe you've had injuries playing sports or doing anything in life, really. And I'm somebody that's lived with pain. You've heard Dave Wyman talk about the pain from his career. And sometimes you're looking at surgery as the answer. But I found a different answer thanks to Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. I'm somebody that's had a lot of back issues and most recently hip issues. Had a torn labrum, a frayed tendon, the bursa sac was inflamed, all kinds of things going on in my hip. So I went to go see Dr. Wagner before I opted for surgery. And he was very honest and upfront with me. He just said, look, You got a lot of things going on in there. This isn't going to cure all of them, but it's going to go a long way into helping. So figured, all right, let's go for it. Let's do it. And I couldn't be happier that I did that because it saved me from going under the knife. And I had heard so many other patients rave about the results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner, who is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joint. So people that have severe osteoarthritis, maybe bone on bone, are back to doing what they enjoy doing without pain and, more importantly, without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I've had or an elbow, a knee, an ankle, shoulder, whatever it is, before you go with surgery, do what I did. Go see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you could get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
It's back to school time again, and parents are pretty stressed out.
Can you blame us? The supply list, the sign-ups, the scheduling.
At least haircuts are easy at Great Clips.
It's true. With the Great Clips app, I checked him in before we left home, so we were in and out in no time.
I got a great haircut, and Mom got to check something off the to-do list. She really loves that.
Back to school can be a lot, but haircuts are easy at Great Clips. Download the app today.
Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed, all in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data, except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards, USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Ready to elevate your everyday? Quince has the luxe staples insiders swear by, minus the markup. From 100% European linen styles and 14-karat gold jewelry to gorgeous leather bags and elevated home finds, Quince has it all. And by partnering directly with top artisans and ethical factories, Quince delivers premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. Discover everyday luxury without the markup at Quince. Go to quince.com/style upgrade for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/style upgrade.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
How we going, mates? It's Ryan Rowland-Smith for Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. If you haven't heard about it already, at the start of this year, I decided to get in the best shape of my life. So I lost 30 pounds of body fat and I kept all that lean muscle. Best decision I ever made. People ask me all the time, what was the motivation to get in such good shape? So a couple of things. Number one, who doesn't want to be in the best shape of their life, right? Obviously physically, but for me, more important mentally. And it starts with a diet, and I finally figured out you can't outwork it. Eastside gave me all the tools I needed to be able to prepare food, have tons of energy, and was never, ever hungry. But there are some other motivators too. I had to lose a bunch of visceral fat. I found out I had way too much of that, especially as I hit my 40s. But one more, look, this is the most important one. I wanted to set a really good example for my kids, to be the best version of myself. My kids look up to me, and I want to be the absolute best example and role model. So look, if any of these resonate with you, there's no better time to start. The time is right now. Make that free 15-minute call to Eastside Weight Loss Clinic and get it started today. It'll change your life like it did mine.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. You guys can weigh in on the Mariners, Seahawks, whatever's on your mind. We'll get to all of that coming up, but time to revisit our Call It Now segment as we made predictions over the weekend, or before the weekend series with the Oakland A's, Sacramento A's, just the A's. Guess they're not saying Sacramento, right? They're just calling them the A's.
I really don't know what to do there. You need to call them by some first name. Just the nameless A's, the
just
city without a team,
just
a team without a city.
They're just the
hapless
just
A's.
the A's. That's all they are. All right, so we had a couple of different categories, a couple of different questions we threw out. We do this often throughout the baseball season and the football season, but we start with the obvious. Just, call it now. How many games will the Mariners win in this series?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. You've got to take this series and beat them the way they should be beaten. You're going Woo, Kirby, Gilbert. I'm going to say that I'm predicting a sweep, Bob.
Flat out wrong.
I'm going to go 2 out of 3. I'll give the A's 1. I think the A's are still a problem, and you've got 2 lefties going in this series, and one of them potentially gets a win. So I'm going to say the Mariners win the series, but they'll drop one of them.
I'm sure Bob knows. He knows Paul.
That's
unmistakable voice of Lofa there.
Oh yeah, that's gold. That drop is gold because it comes from Lofa. But yeah, it's. It could have been a sweep. You could argue maybe should have been a sweep.
Yeah.
If Robles is able to get that bunt down, it's they had their opportunities in that game. You had a great start and you held their offense down and you were in a position to win it and they just couldn't get it done. But all right. So,
yeah, it was in a situation like the last homestand where they could have won all 10 of those games, but there was an extra innings, and so I don't know. I think I was close on that one.
Yeah,
we just
you were almost right.
Asterisk, almost right.
Almost right. The next question, would they score over or under 9.5 runs in the 3 games combined?
I'm going to say that they're going to go over.
Affirmative.
I think we're going to see an explosion of, what are they, 3rd with home runs, I think? They're going to put up some offensive numbers. So, and they just have to.
I'm with you on that. But, yeah, I like them to go over 9.5. I don't think that's a huge ask.
Yeah, that's right.
So we both got that. They did their job offensively, going over 9.5 runs. Now the other side, this to me was more of an interesting question because of what had happened with the rotation on that road trip, and it wasn't good. They were getting lit up. We had Logan Gilbert with a 2-inning performance, and Castillo with a 4-inning performance, and Kirby with a 4 1/3. Just wasn't good. So the question was, would they allow over or under 9.5 runs?
I'm going under there.
Boy, do I hate being right all the time.
Because we just talked about, the home and away pitching. It's a pitcher's ballpark.
I'm with you there, too. The numbers tell you. It's night and day for these guys in this park. I'm going to go with the under on 9.5 runs allowed. Affirmative.
They crushed it. You got great pitching.
Right?
Great starting pitching. And they look like the guys you expected throughout the season. They're just night and day. Unbelievable. So, yeah, tremendous job there. And then Wu was getting the start on that day, so we asked about Brian Wu. Would he continue his streak going? He's at least 6 innings in every start of the season going into this one. So would he go over or under 6 1/3 innings.
I'm going to say over.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Again, I mean, that's been the trend, and it's not a wild prediction to make for Woo.
I'm with you on the optimism train. I'm with you. I'm going over with Woo.
Pretty good.
He was pretty good. He was spectacular. 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, 88 pitches. Efficient, dominant, and what is that, 25 in a row now? 25 to start the season. 25. Every single start this year, he's gone at least 6, and in this one, 7 with just 1 hit.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal, and that's why we haven't been doing that little exercise that we like to do. Name the rotation. Who's your starter? Who's the opening day starter? It would have been boring. It's been Woo all year.
The answer has not changed. It's him. So he came out and you needed it because that was the opening game. You were not feeling good after that road trip. We were like, oh boy, the A's can come out and they're throwing 2 lefties. They're a team that can certainly beat you. So that was huge for him to sort of set the tone for the rotation. Yeah. You know, the offense is separate, but just for the rotation to set that tone, what to me was a very, very big deal. All right, moving on, we got to Julio, who's just been on fire. He's been their best hitter since the All-Star break, and went with the question, would he go over or under 6.5 total hits in the series?
I'm going over.
Yeah, sounds super dumb.
Once again, I mean, I think that's what it's gonna take to win this series or sweep this series, as I've predicted.
Yep, I'm with you once again. The optimism train is rolling full steam ahead. So over 6.5 total hits.
Hey, we can't have clips from members of the show there.
Come on. It was worth it in that situation.
Sounds super dumb.
Now I'm like super curious. Like, what was that about?
I don't know. I asked Matt. It was something we were at Edgar's, and Matt remembered that and said, we need to mark that down and pull it. So he has added that to the file of right and wrong. But we don't remember the exact context.
It's a little too familiar. All right.
That's not, well, we were both wrong. We were both super dumb on that one. So. All right. And then this one, Cal over or under 1.5 home runs in this series. So that was the specificity there was in this 3-game series. You went one way, I went the other, and you were right, I was wrong.
What do you think I'm going to say, Bob?
I know what
you know
you're
I like
say.
Cal, right? The Tampa series, he hit 3 home runs, 1 in each game. So, as far as that, I feel like he's going to get it done at home. I'm going over.
Bingo! How fun!
All right, I'm gonna take the under. I think he's going to get 1 in the A's series, and I think he might get 1 or 2 in the Padres series. I like him to break the record here at home in the 6 games. I don't think he does it in the first 3.
Not great, Bob.
So I was sort of right.
You were right the first 2 games. That's for sure.
Sort of right. He'd break the record at home, but no, I was wrong. He got it done in 1 game, and it was amazing. It was fun to watch, and we talked about being out there at the park during the show on Friday, and they had the digital boards up around the stadium, and they had 49 home runs flat. Like, they were prepped. They were ready for it on Friday. They were preparing for
practice run.
Yeah, the eventuality of him breaking that record at home. So luckily they had whatever bugs could have been there worked out. They were working on it on Friday, and he gets it done over the weekend.
I wonder if Cal's out there like warming up and he sees them go through, because we saw that you and I did the show from Lumen Field, where they pretty much run through like a practice. You know, we were there, 3 hours, 4 hours early.
Oh, yeah.
They do all the practice stuff, whether it's the national anthem and everything. So they're flashing the 49.
Yeah, they had it
there.
up all over the I don't know what you call it, like the ribbon banner that goes around the stadium, and then the big scoreboard. They had 49 everywhere. So.
And if you're Cal and you walk out for warm-ups or whatever, you like, give me a break, will you? Sheesh.
Yeah, he probably would. I don't even know if he'd pay attention. He seems to just be
probably not.
doing his own thing. And there were very few people even out there when they were doing it. So.
He would probably say, well, if they want to do that, they can do that.
They're allowed to. It's okay to prepare. Yeah. All right, so there you go. Meanwhile, one of the most important series of the year begins tonight for the Mariners. We're going to get into this matchup. Coming up next, it's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
I said, Blue 88. Every morning at 7:45, Brock Ewart tackles 3 football questions as only he can.
Is this the offensive line group? Is that the group that should now start?
It's got to be.
It's Sundell at center.
Yeah. Yep. Hayes in the barn. This is our group. Let them play together. Let them grow together. And I kind of like the way it all mixes and matches from strengths, experience, and again, a comfort level with that center.
Catch every Blue 88 on the Seattle Sports app.
Well, I have been taking advantage of this weather out there, getting on the motorcycle as often as possible. It is just an amazing time of year for motorcycle riders out there, but you do assume a bit more risk out there on a bike. And if you're somebody that has been in a motorcycle accident, you've been injured in one, do not settle for a law firm that tells you they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who have actually lived it and do live it. That's Law Tigers. They've been a part of the riding community for nearly 25 years nationwide. They're available 24/7, 365 days a year because riders deserve real support when you need it most. And Law Tigers is the resource riders can turn to when they are in need after an accident. And you see them everywhere. You see them out at all of the events. They support all the clubs, all the shops out there. You see the vans, the big tents, certainly the billboards everywhere. They are very present. They're always by your side. The Law Tigers are there for you. And your case evaluation is completely free. There are no fees until your case settles. They don't get paid until you get paid. So with Law Tigers, you never ride alone. They are Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
When you own a business, it feels like everything's on you. Orders, deliveries, employees, on you. That's why Comcast Business is giving you a year of mobile on us with your internet service. Really? Yep. We'll cover your first line of mobile for 1 year. So calling customers, getting directions, texting Janine and shipping, on us. The broken coffee maker? That one's still on you, which means you'll save hundreds for your business and get the fastest mobile service with 5G cellular and Wi-Fi hotspots on us. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Get a mobile plan and free up the budget to maybe, I don't know, fix that coffee maker? Get mobile on us for 1 year, you guessed it, on us. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 10/9/25. Restrictions apply. New mobile customers only with internet standard service or above. Limited to value of 1 unlimited intra-line apply via 12 monthly internet bill credits. 1 discount per account. Fastest mobile based on mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data in service areas. Ookla Speed Test Intelligence 2H24.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FREE to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FREE to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FREE to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FREE to 64,000.
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener on Sunday, September 7th. Open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter through the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds of winning 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener. Do it every day, August 19th through August 25th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. Only from the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men, too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up at 3 o'clock, our weekly conversation with Ryan Rowland-Smith. Make sure you stay tuned for that. We'll have Jon Morosi joining us for his weekly conversation as well. So a lot of baseball coming your way. We will get into Seahawks conversation as they wrapped up their preseason. And then we start anticipating the roster trimming and all of that. So stay tuned for all of that. Text line there for you, 866-979-3776. We got the Padres in town who are sitting atop the NL West with the Dodgers. And that's talk about the nip and tuck battle we've got going here with the Mariners and the Astros. That's a 2-game difference going on in that one. Meanwhile, when you look at what's going on in the NL West, the Padres have a lot on the line going into this series, to say the very least, as they sit there tied with the Dodgers, both at 74 and 57 on the season. What's amazing is it's those two and then a 10-game lead over the third-place team, the Arizona Diamondbacks. So this a 2-team race in this division. So this is a huge, huge series for the Padres. There's a lot on the line for them, just like the Mariners. Mariners rotation will go Miller tonight. You've got Castillo going in Game 2, Wu going in Game 3. This is a huge series for these guys. Miller, second start since he's been back from the IL. So we'll see. Hopefully he can improve upon what he was last time, which was 5 innings, 4 runs. We need him to be better. You certainly need, I still give him a little bit of grace. He's going to have to work his way back into this, but this is where Luis Castillo needs to step up. He has not been good in August. He's had one good start back on the 8th of August. He went 7 innings, 2 runs against Tampa Bay. It was his best start of the month, certainly, and maybe one of his best of the season. But the other 3 starts, 4 1/3, he lasts, 2 runs. Next one, 4 innings, 6 runs. His last one, 4 innings, 3 runs. You can't be out there for 4 innings. You're the Rock. You're the highest paid player on this team. You are the veteran. This is where you need to step up and become that guy again. And even if they get to you, they touch you up for a couple runs, you got to take some heat off the bullpen. You got to give them 5 or 6. This is just 3 of the 4 starts going 4 innings and 4 1/3 in one of them. Not acceptable.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. I was just reflecting on the sweep by the Toronto Blue Jays back it was May 9th, 10th, and 11th, and then we lost 2 of 3 to the Yankees, and the only win was an 11-inning win. They won 2-1. But then they went and just worked the Padres, man. I mean, that was one of those kind of breakout series where you're like, okay, this team really is good. I mean, it was a disappointing end to that series that road trip because they end up losing 3 of 4 to Houston. But yeah, beat them 5-1, 4-1, 6-1. I mean, it was really well pitched, and yeah, I mean they put up some good numbers there. I understand that San Diego is a different team now. And but yeah, this will be kind of interesting. I wonder if it's in the Vetter Cup here, if it's maybe just a matchup problem for the Padres. But either way, I mean, like you said, the pitching and especially Castillo, he's got to be strong. He's got to have a strong finish. And yeah, it's been kind of disappointing. And usually he's, every once in a while he'll blow up. And remember last year it was like every once in a while he would give up a couple of home runs, but he's been pretty solid this year and until recently. So yeah. You're going to need a lot more from him.
Yeah, you need it from everybody. That goes. I'm not expecting more of him than I am of Logan or Kirby or Wu. Again, giving a little bit of grace to Miller, just a second start off the IL, but he's hopefully going to give you at least what he did last time, but hopefully better. Give me 6-3. Can live with that. 6-3 out of Miller. Wu, he's been a stud. 6 innings at least every single start, so you have a pretty clear idea of what he's going to do. Castillo's been kind of odd. I mean, he had a great month of July. For the month of July, he had an ERA of 2.05 in the month of July. So far in August, 6.05. And you look at it, even in July, it was kind of every other start. His first start in July, he goes 7 innings, 7 shutout innings, didn't give up a run. Then the next one, he just goes 5, gives up 3. Then the next one, 6 2/3, no runs. Then the next one, 5 innings, 3 runs. So he's kind of trading off every other one. Then he goes 7 innings, 1 run. Then 4 1/3, 2. Then 7. It's literally every other start. He was good. So you got to. And then this month, like I said, it's been 3 starts of 4 innings, 4 innings, 4 1/3. You can't have it.
Yeah,
you just can't have that from your guy.
I wonder if you ask these guys every once in a while, it's just bad luck because you run your pitch count up when you get a guy that just keeps fouling the ball off and things like that. Because the 4 1/3 you were talking about against Texas, he'd only given up 2 earned runs at that point and only 4 hits, and so it's like, why couldn't he have gone a little bit longer there? But he'd run his pitch count up to like close to 90.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I think it's just bad luck, especially when you get a bunch of guys fouling off, pitch after pitch after pitch. But look, that's also in your control as well.
Yeah. Right? And we had Ryan Rowland-Smith on before telling us, even if, as a pitcher, he looked at it as if I go up there and it takes 7, 8 pitches and then guy flies out, strikes out, ground, he makes an out. He feels like the hitter won because of him, driving up the pitch count.
Right.
So I get that. I don't know if every pitcher shares that belief, but you look at even the start against the Mets, he goes 4 innings. He threw 95 pitches in 4 innings. Yeah. So they worked it. He gave up 6 runs. It was a brutal start. Yeah. So, you need better. You need what you got over the weekend where you had all 3 of your starters, and we'll talk more about them. But Logan, fantastic. Wu, fantastic. Kirby, really good. So you got what you needed. Now that needs to continue with the other 2 guys. And again, Miller, second start off the IL. We'll see how much better, how much of a step he can take. But then you start looking at Castillo going, okay, man, you're the veteran. You're the lead dog in terms of experience in that rotation. And this is crunch time. This is where the Rock needs to become the Rock again.
Yeah, I wonder how much Dan relies on Cal. Like every once in a while you've seen these movies. Remember in A League of Their Own? It's like, she's throwing grapefruits up there.
Yeah.
No, she's done. I'm just curious. Cal is more tuned in. And again, getting the conversation back to Cal, but just how valuable he is. I'm curious, how much does Dan look at him and go, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Yeah. That's true of any catcher. Like, what are you seeing out there? What's
happening?
How
much sway does he have? And I would think a little bit more than most catchers,
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody's got every manager has their relationship with their catcher. I think they trust him to tell him, hey, man, this guy's out of gas, or, these pitches aren't moving the way they need to. He's leaving it out over the plate, whatever. But 31 games to go. As we said, you're 2 games behind the Astros. You're 1 game behind the Red Sox, who have the number 1 wild card spot. You're a half game behind the Yankees for that second wild card spot. So Mariners right now still in that 3rd wild card spot, and that gap's grown a little bit. They've got a 3-game lead on the Royals and a 4.5-game lead in front of now the Rangers because Cleveland's in a free fall. So the Rangers have moved up just a touch, but you got a 4.5-game lead over them. So just keeping an eye on everything that's happening around him. Meanwhile, we can't avoid this guy unless you're trying to get him to play pickleball. Oh, look at that! Look at
Mike,
that!
Using his own personal feelings in the tees here.
Wow! All right.
I think he might be listening too. So I'm glad we got that in there.
Oh, is he listening? Let me repeat it. We can't avoid this guy unless you're trying to get him to play pickleball, says Mike Lefko. Ryan Rowland-Smith is going to join us next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
He's the best catcher in baseball.
Pitch to Cal, swing and a drive.
And he's on Seattle Sports, Thursday afternoons all season long. It's the Honey Bucket Cal Raleigh Show.
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
More history for Cal Raleigh.
I love being here and I love these fans in the city.
Catch every episode of the Honey Bucket Cal Raleigh Show, presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, on the Seattle Sports YouTube page, the Seattle Sports app, and seattlesports.com.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Michael is in his 70s, and he was dealing with an injury.
I had tears in my rotator cuff. Just the discomfort of going about everyday life. Day-to-day things were not comfortable or almost impossible, but just being inactive was troubling.
He was in a great deal of pain.
I started trying to learn how to brush my teeth with my left hand, and you can't do it. It was ridiculous.
Searching for answers, Michael found Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, where he underwent stem cell therapy.
You know, I play basketball Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and so I'm getting my shot back. It's not back to where it was, but hey, before I couldn't even do anything. So 100% improvement of what it was.
Wow, that's great to hear. Would you recommend stem cell therapy to others?
I can share without a doubt that it helped me, and I'm grateful for that.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken.
Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Plus free premium delivery with any smart bed and adjustable base. Ends Labor Day. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway, because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Save big during Labor Day at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, buy more to get up to an additional 20% off. Shop even more savings with 3 Stay Green 1 cubic foot vegetable and flower garden soil bags for $10. This Labor Day, take care of your home for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/3. Sorry offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Lee Johnson Auto family. This is King. This organization's a special one. They call it the Lee Johnson Auto family, and it's not just a name. It's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family, to work together, to really become close. And they show us in a lot of different ways that they do value us. Is it perfect? No, no place is. But I've been very thankful to be here in the almost 10 years and have every plan to stay here for a lot longer and just watch it continue to grow.
He's fun and professional, which explains why so many people visiting Lee Johnson Kia ask for him by name. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Well, the Mariners getting a tough test in the San Diego Padres, who are in town for a 3-game series beginning tonight. The Mariners will send Bryce Miller to the hill, his second start after coming off the injured list. He'll face off against former A and now Padre pitcher J.P. Sears. So Mariners facing another lefty. You can catch it all starting at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Meanwhile, Trey Hendrickson's contract situation appears to be resolved, at least for the short term. He will get a $14 million raise from the Bengals this season, boosting his 2025 salary to $30 million, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. He's scheduled to become an unrestricted free agent after this season.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
I actually talked about it on You Betcha on the podcast.
He is an unrivaled source of baseball knowledge.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
A guy who always has your back.
Pants back on, try and make the uniform look sweet in a split second. Come out, and I'm trying to open the door. I'm like, what the? And I said, listen, buddy, put your babysitting shoes on, because Dad's going out for Father's Day. You got to watch Top Gun. You guys don't listen when I speak. I'm talking to a brick wall right now.
Ryan Rowland-Smith, every week with Wyman and Bob.
That's the open right there.
You just can't get away from this guy unless you're trying to get him to play pickleball, is what I'm being told here. Is that
wow?
That's just an unwarranted, unsolicited shot from Mike Lefko directed at our next guest, Ryan Rowland-Smith, who joins us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. You going to take that from him?
That's kind of what we thought. We were like,
look,
wow.
Any of the 25 Twitter followers he has, they all follow me as well. And they all saw the interaction last week. It said, get the event sponsored and get humiliated. That's all I wrote on Twitter.
So can I give some backstory?
Or X, whatever. Sorry.
Well, yesterday was pickleball day, the Mariners. We were both there. There were 3 pickleball courts taped up in Victory Hall. Ryan Rowland-Smith, nowhere to be found. And I responded, hey, you're the guy with 30 sponsors. We hear him on this station. We see him all over TV. Surely they would sponsor a pickleball match. No response to that.
Wow.
Mike,
I've
emailed
with your
them.
paddle waiting?
Yeah, and his 6-year-old
with his
son
$600 paddle
was there on Saturday, and he tried to pawn him off against me again. He goes, Lennox, this is the guy you're going to play in pickleball.
I did say that. That's the true story. And Lennox looked at him like, this guy? I was like, yeah, this guy.
He looked at him and went, easy work. Easy work.
How much did you pay for your paddle?
Me? Are you asking?
Like for $15,
like $20, 20.
Dude, it was that Big Five. Shout out to Big Five, and it was like $25.
Yeah,
for 2, right?
Smashing people. Yeah, for 2, and you get the ball with it.
And Lefko's got like a $600 designer thing going on.
I think he's got his name engraved in the handle too.
Oh, please, yeah. Probably. Unreal.
Well, let's talk about this Mariner team before we get into what they've got in front of them with the Padres, which is going to be a huge test for this team.
Yeah.
What was your takeaway from the A series? Because I think we got a lot of what we were really hoping to see in the way of starting pitching that was not good on that road trip at all. And then you look at what Brian Wu, George Kirby, and Logan Gilbert did, and each one of them gave up 1 run. each one.
Huge. Yeah.
It was just a massive series, and I would assume gives a level of confidence that could have been waning a bit after that road trip.
Yeah, and look, this is going back to Logan Gilbert yesterday, going off literally tying his career shortest outings in Philadelphia with 2 innings and just giving it up. You walk away from that outing, and I actually said this on the TV side right after the game. I was like, look, he has in the past, a couple times last year, one time against the Dodgers where he just did not have any answers, everything middle of the plate, and got hit around, came back and was just dominant the next outing. And that's kind of that separator. That's something where, and I'll admit, there was times where I'd go 2 innings and give it up, and then just let it seep into the mindset going into the next start. And it took me 3 or 4 to get out of that funk. With Logan Gilbert, man, he comes out, punches out 13. Are you kidding me? So it was dominant, and that was much needed. And we've said this for a couple months now, that if you want to get to October and say, all right, this team is in a really good position to have a good run at the playoffs, not just get there, because we've seen that. They're going to play a team tonight, the Padres, who are gearing up to have their mindset in the midst of October, not just get to the finish line. And that's how it was in Philadelphia on that rough road trip. But if you're going to get to that place, it's going to be on the starting pitching. And you see George Kirby, bounce back the way he did, Logan Gilbert. But a lot's going to depend on the guy on the mound tonight, Bryce Miller. What are we going to see? I think there's more of a sense of urgency with him coming back from the IL this time. It's not a situation where, hey, look, 3 or 4 and get your feet underneath you. No. You need to get that Bryce Miller running at capacity like right now. And it's going to be a real test for him against this Padres team, which is really good.
Yeah, tell us a little bit. I know you've been looking at your opponent preview there, but how different are the Padres right now, Ryan? Because we were looking at that series was really a breakout series for them on the road, man. They only gave up 3 runs in the 3 games there, but we know they got better, but what have you seen from that team?
Well, first of all, the contrast there with the the Athletics.
How dare you?
Yeah, I'm going to
Nobody
end up
makes
on
that mistake.
By the way, there's a social media account. Give them a shout out. They're awesome. The Last Dive Bar, and they pick up every time someone says Oakland, they pick it up and they post it. It's pretty funny. So, but anyway, that Athletics team, man, you run into that's kind of what happens, right? When you're facing a team and everyone's like, well, it's the Athletics, but guess what? You run into a team that has nothing to lose. Young players some of them are auditioning for 2026. Some young prospect who throws 98 with a 3,000 RPM breaking ball. That's what you run into. But where you can beat them, and this is what the Mariners did, where you can beat them is some of the shortcomings, the bullpen, the depth in the bullpen, the depth on the bench. They just don't have it. Now all of a sudden you're facing the Padres, and they have all that. The bullpen is just locked down. They had a bit of a hiccup their last game, but besides that, their bullpen simply got better. Mason Miller, speaking of the Athletics, is joined that bullpen. They are rock solid. So you just don't have those little weak links. And we saw that with the Philadelphia series. Even though Zach Wheeler went down, you're looking at 3 guys, in Suarez and Luzardo and Sanchez, lefties, 1, 2, 3 in a row that they're going to make a huge impact in October. So that's kind of what you're going to face. You just don't have those weak links like you do with the Athletics. Even though there is that kid at the top of the lineup, Kurtz, who could beat you, and they shut him down. Langoliers, who could beat you, or Jacob Wilson, who can beat you. Yeah, that's great, but they don't have the lineup depth or the bullpen. This is a completely different animal that they're dealing with the Padres.
Hey, just back to the Mariners rotation for a moment. You brought up Miller, and he gave us 5 and 4. The last start. Hopefully he can improve upon that. I still give him a little bit of grace because he's coming back, and you figure, all right, he hasn't found his rhythm yet. But the one guy that I pointed to and said, okay, he needs to step up is Luis Castillo, who pitches the second game of the series, because it has been he was lights out in July. He had an ERA of 2.05 in the month of July. Mm-hmm. In 4 starts in August, he's got an ERA of 6.05. He hasn't gotten out of the 4th inning in 2 of them. He went 4 innings in 2 back-to-back starts, and then 4 in the 3rd in the other. And then he had 1 great start against Tampa Bay, and then the 3 duds. He's got to be better. I mean, this is the guy who's making the most money. He's got the most experience. He's the Rock. He's got to be there. You got 31 games left. You can't have him be who he's been in August.
I agree. And back to my point I made about Logan Gilbert. Rough one. What does he do? Bounce right back. Velocity's through the roof. His split has that depth. He's got that recoil when he throws that pitch, and he's just got that presence about him, punches out 13. Yes, it's a different lineup, but it really doesn't matter. The stuff he had physically and obviously mentally wouldn't matter who he was facing. He could face anyone, an all-star team if he wanted to. With Luis, it was concerning because he had that outing in against the Mets, and the velocity, he was getting a couple 96s, but everything was ending up in the middle of the plate, and it was kind of like you're watching that outing going, is he tipping something? Because they're on that heater like crazy. And then you start to see the velocity dip a little bit. Then he goes into his last outing that we just saw, and that velocity was kind of stagnant. We're seeing 93s, 94s, couple 95s, so it's a little down. His demeanor, and I am comparing to Logan, his demeanor on the mound was not the typical Luis Castillo smirk and with that tempo and that cadence where it's like I'm in control. Very similar to what Felix had when he was pitching here, when he was at his peak. He had that certain cadence about him that pitch clock is irrelevant because he's setting that tone. And I just didn't see that last outing from Luis Castillo. So I'm with you on that. There is that more sense of urgency you're going to see. And we saw this from Dan Wilson a little bit more where, Matt Brash took him out of the game, went to Gabe Spire, who's been so good. Latest guest on the Top Step, by the way. Great interview. But there's that sense of urgency that Dan Wilson's starting to show now. You're starting to see that. The leash is much shorter, and the bullpen's going to be way more matched up. Once they get to that 6th, 7th, and 8th. So it'll be interesting. If Luis, I think he's going to be maybe on a short leash. However, you kind of want him to push through some of those thresholds because you said it, man. You need him in this last stretch, especially in the month of September. You need him to feel good once he gets to pitch number 70 and he's got 2 runners on and everything that makes him Luis Castillo, you want that back. Not to mention, once you get, I talk about this all the time. You don't want to just go, yay, we're in the playoffs. Awesome, now what? No. You want to get to the playoffs and be like, okay, we are so structured and we're so built to make a run here. We know exactly how we're going to match up. We know exactly how long of a leash we're going to give these starting pitchers. We know exactly how we're going to match up if we have to pinch hit someone. And we know how to beat these teams down in those tournament-style games as opposed to, whoop-de-doo, we're a playoff team again. You don't want that. You want to go deep in it. And so Luis Castillo is a big part of that too.
Hey, Ryan, we saw like a glimpse of Victor Robles and what makes him such a great player. And, how likely do you think that the Major League Baseball is going to reduce that suspension? And then just, what you saw from him, and he's such an exciting player.
Oh, yeah. It was so fun watching him. And the one question I had was, because Dave, you can speak to this. You have some sort of joint injury, and I know it's been months, down the track, but you have a little bit of that, underlying subconscious. I don't want to dive for a ball and land on my shoulder. I don't want to run into a wall. I don't want to grab that base like he did late in the game when the first game back. He didn't have any of that. I'm like, man, he's just running through a wall straight out of the gates. And that's one of the reasons too why Dan Wilson had him hitting down the lineup. And he's still, I haven't even checked the lineup today, but it'll get to a point where he can show that he can run through a wall, be totally comfortable, get back to full speed, and you'll probably see him at the top of that lineup again. But, man, it was really cool to see him back and just that spark plug because, again, this team, and going into yesterday, they went 8 straight games with runners in scoring position, hit, I think, like a 160 mark. However, they had like the second least amount of opportunities to drive guys in. And the reason for that is because, they were surviving on the home run. They've got to do a little bit on the margins, right? That's swiping that extra base, putting that pitcher on the ropes, making them uncomfortable. When they can do that to go along with the home run ball, they are going to be the best lineup in baseball. They just had a stretch where it was, sweet, we hit some dingers, awesome, and there was nothing else besides that. There was no traffic and no breaking a sweat from some of these pitchers. Victor Robles gives you that the minute he gets on those bases.
What was your feeling when we learned, and I don't know that it was a surprise to you or anybody, that the Mariners DFA'd Dylan Moore, who was the longest tenured Mariner on this roster, and then they give him his unconditional release, so he's out there to be had by any other team. It's, look, we talked a lot about it. Epic struggles, 3 hits in the last 3 months. So There you go. But he is a guy that did have big moments for this team and came through in a lot of big moments, but ultimately this is how it ends. What was your reaction to that?
Yeah, again, man, think of how it started, right? He came in, if you remember, came into camp as, a minor league invitee and had no big league time at that point. And he carried himself in such a way to say, hey, look, I can play. He came into camp saying, I can play multiple positions. And this is when the Mariners were kind of on that fringe of valuing that versatility because it's so massive to play multiple positions. They didn't really have that outside of Dylan Moore. And then he showed his ability to get lefties, and he Gold Glove defense and all those things. So he carved himself out a nice little niche, but it just hit the expiration date, I think, because obviously he had massive struggles. But they gave Dylan, because of the kind of first class human being he is, and how athletic he is, and everything else. They gave him a lot of leeway. A lot of other teams, man, if you are not showing that value and versatility, dude, you go one of those months and they have to make moves. Sorry, man, you're the odd man out. That wasn't the case with Dylan. They gave him every chance, and it was frustrating. It was frustrating. You could tell it was written all over his face in between pitches, how the big struggles he was going through and everything else. Now, moving forward, if you at the end of that game, I know the game was a blowout, and one of the questions was, look, if you got like a J.P. Crawford, defensively, you have to, who's going to play shortstop? Well, Cole Young got a couple of reps where he had a chance to play shortstop, and he did it well. I know it was only a couple innings, but that's kind of like, that's one of these things that you recognize. You give him a couple reps out there and go, okay, check the box. I think we're okay. But wish Dylan all the best. Hopefully he can figure out the in-between pitches, the mental grind that goes on in between pitches, and get it when he gets the pitches.
Hey, Ryan, so now with Cal, with the new record as far as a catcher goes, it seems like all the conversations are popping back up about, can he win the MVP from Judge? And, it looks like it's going to be Judge, Ohtani, Cal Raleigh, possibly Schwarber. But, I mean, as far as the average goes, and they were talking about that this morning, about how much that counts, and it kind of gets, sort of pushed to the back just because, average is not that sexy of a number, but 324 for him. I mean, what do you think now about, do you think that he can actually make a push? Because it kind of got pushed to the back burner there for a while. And, I know it was a conversation piece around the All-Star game.
Well, I think that, and you make a great point, too, about some of the, the older numbers when you're talking about RBIs, average. I'll throw slugging in there even. When you look at okay, he's in a top 3 in every offensive category, whether it's a average number like one of the typical generic numbers, or if it's the underlying numbers, he's a top 3, including National League players. So okay, American League is a top 2 in most of them. Like we're talking OPS, a lot of those numbers as well, right? It's interesting because, man, it's going to make for some it's going to, maybe break the narrative to say, all right, an MVP, the value there is what he does in regards to on the pitching side. So I think his biggest argument against Aaron Judge, and let's say Aaron Judge puts up a typical Aaron Judge month, right? Let's say he's at 80% capacity. It's going to be very hard to sort of break that typical narrative to say, all right, he is more worthy of Aaron Judge because of all those offensive numbers outside of the home runs. Aaron Judge has him beat. However, I think there's enough of a conversation now nationally and enough of a push and a sway to say that you have got a catcher who is taking on a completely different workload and a completely different responsibility in regards to value, taking on a pitching staff and taking on everything he does behind the dish and the percentage of games he is behind the plate. That has to be taken into account. And I think that conversation's been going on since early on in the season when he was at the top of the home run list, to have enough of a sway, in my opinion. Now, if it didn't have enough of a sway, or for example, if this Mariners the Mariners pitching was just walking everyone and it wasn't great, and he had less of a percentage behind the plate, that's different. But the fact that, and again, going back to what we initially talked about, let's say this team has a great run in September, and they get through, and the starting rotation has the kind of the consistent turns that we are seeing to get them to October. you cannot go past the fact that Cal has the value put forth to get the team to the playoffs. Therefore, it's going to help. And by the way, look, if the Yankees, they've been struggling. They have been struggling. Aaron Judge is an amazing player, one of the arguably the best player on the planet, and Ohtani and obviously Cal's in that conversation. If the Yankees slip out of the playoffs too, I think that's going to help Cal Raleigh. But yeah, I think, like I said, guys, there's enough conversation around the fact that what he does in the position he plays now that would break that narrative to take it away from Aaron Judge.
Hey, I was watching, I can't remember what game I was watching. It wasn't a Mariner game, but it was just a different ball game over the weekend. And I saw the pitching coach come out to a pitcher who was struggling out there, and you could tell he was agitated. The head was bouncing. He's covering his mouth, and the head's bouncing. It was a very animated conversation.
What team was that?
I can't remember the game I was watching.
Okay.
I don't remember who it was, but it made me think, man, I don't think I've ever asked you about conversations from pitching coaches on the mound. What would they – I'm sure it's different every time and every team is different, but would it usually be a go get them, you got this, or would it be what the hell are you doing? What's the problem? How specific was what were they saying to you generally when they come out to you?
Mostly it's positive. Mostly it's glass half full. They're going to give you a little bit of a quick little reminder of a scouting report or what they're trying to do, or maybe it's, hey, look, you can be outside the strike zone with this guy, and they'll even say, look at that guy on deck. If you see pitchers look to whoever's on deck, that's telling you that, because I was guilty of that. I've looked back at some old videos. I mean, not recently. It's not like I'm sitting there like Mike Lefko watches his paddleball highlights from his iPhone. But there has been times where I remember they're like, hey, see the guy on deck. That's who we're going after. If we can get it in a good count here, otherwise we're pitching around him. We're going after him. Let's go. Like it gives you that. Oh, okay. You're giving me the the permission to have a crack at this guy. We're not just going to walk him. Have a crack at him. If we can't get him, and then boom, this is my dude, right? Left on left, or whatever it may be. But it's always different. I will say this. Funny story. I don't want to name names here, but back in the day, Lou Piniella. There was one young starting pitcher who's a prospect, comes up, and he goes, I got called up to the big leagues. Lou Piniella didn't even speak to me. And he was waiting to make his start. And he pitched pretty well. And Lou Piniella, shook his hand, and that was it after he was done. Like, I'm feeling pretty good. Next game, he goes back out. I think it was at Fenway Park. Lou Piniella still hasn't said boo to him, right? Hasn't said anything to him. And he said that, he's pitching, scoreless, gets into, the fourth inning, hit, walk, right? He looks and goes, oh, man, the bullpen's going. Lou Piniella walks out. He goes, hey, man, how you doing? Kind of like that. Oh, he's like, wow, Lou's talking to me. This is the first time we've had a conversation. And he's like, this is cool, because it's Lou Piniella, man. He's a legend, right? And this guy's just fresh off the bus from AAA. He's just, he's like, man, I'm at Fenway Park. I think it was Fenway Park. And he said that, he goes, oh, hey, you feeling? He goes, good. He goes, yeah, good. You think that's good? You just walked the bases and just started ripping him. He said, give me that ball. I can't repeat it on the radio. He said, give me that ball. Get out of here. And just told him to basically kicked him to get off the mound. He's like, whoa. Wow. And that was his first ever interaction. Yeah, just ripped him. And he goes, dude, I'll never, ever think that I've got this made or lose focus ever again. It was hilarious. The way he told it, I was like, man, I've never had I've had a couple mound visits like that, but nothing as extreme as that. But usually it's pretty upbeat, unless they're just really annoyed at something. But yeah,
I wish I could remember the team, because I was just watching the guy's head bounce, and you could just see he was agitated. He was covering his mouth, but the head was very, very agitated. What are you doing? I just was thinking, what is he saying?
Hey, honestly, look, I don't know if this generation can take that or not, but sometimes I needed that, man. Yeah, right, agree, Dave. Man. Dave knows what I'm talking about.
I figured that would come from the catcher before the pitching coach, right? Wouldn't your catcher go, Ryan? What are you doing, man?
I've had some. And you've got to have a good relationship with the dude. I've had some catchers who I've been good friends with rip me a new one. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. But you got to have that good. You got to have that good relationship before you do that. I mean, there could be a fist fight in the dugout, So
it's kind of funny in football. It never really happened on the sidelines. It was the next day in film.
Gotcha.
And I remember my coach who drafted me and everything. He was real nice to me in the hallway and everything, and then we get in film, and he just rips me. My grandmother can cover kicks better than you, and you bleep, 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 bleep. Wow.
Dave, the kids these days, they can't handle it.
No,
they can't handle it, right?
I'm not sure if
Lefko would crumble if his pickleball coach went after him.
Exactly.
That's how you get Lefko.
Shattered my confidence.
Ryan, as always, we appreciate you, my friend. We'll do it again next week.
It's been fun. Thanks, guys.
See, there you go.
Thanks,
Ryan Rowland-Smith with us each and every week. Our weekly conversation with Ryan Rowland-Smith is presented by Mazda of Everett. Meanwhile, Jalen Milroe was thrown into the fire on Saturday. We'll break down what we learned about the rookie. Coming up next, it's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Historic cow. Are you buying it? You like that? Historic
cow.
Brock and Salk.
It sounds too much like Dangerous. That's my problem.
Morning 6 to 10.
Can you get to 54 to tie Mickey Mantle or pass him at 55 for switch hitting home runs in a season? Can you get to 56 or 57 to tie or pass Junior?
For me, it would be Griffey. Hitting in the Kingdome for those years, a totally different era from pitching. I think even Ken would go, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Only on Seattle Sports.
Are you in pain? This is Dave Wyman, and if you're experiencing pain in your shoulder, elbow, wrist, hip, or knee, do what my friend and co-host Bob Stelton did and go see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
It's been a huge game changer. After 13 years of jiu-jitsu, I had a lot of issues with my hip. It was bad, so I'd heard a ton of patients raving about the results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner, so I had to check it out. Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. Now, people with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back to doing what they enjoy doing without pain and without surgery.
Whether it's a hip like Bob had, a shoulder, a knee, a wrist, an ankle, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
You still have 40 million plus vehicles globally that are driving around with a potential ticking time bomb, a grenade in either their steering wheel or their dashboard. When we look to what injuries may have transpired from a defective airbag, we generally see loss of vision in an eye, or we see facial lacerations. We also see hearing loss. Unfortunately, we started seeing death after death after death. When that passenger airbag exploded, it basically degloved his entire face. He lost his nose, he lost his right eye. The type of catastrophic injuries that one is more accustomed to seeing in a Hollywood movie, and not something from a device in an automobile that's supposed to protect you. Morgan & Morgan has a national reach in terms of handling and prosecuting cases. Notwithstanding the team of lawyers that we have collected that focus only on product liability day in and day out.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
Beat rising costs at Lake Washington Windows and Doors. For a limited time, get a 20% inflation discount and enjoy easy 18-month free financing with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest. Details at lakewashingtonwindows.com.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots and not getting the long-term results you really want? This is Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. Our program has helped over 4,000 people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast. Ready for real lasting results? Visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Did he just say Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is half the cost and works twice as fast as weight loss injections? Well, if that's not reason enough, you don't risk the scary side effects or gaining the weight back as soon as you stop. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is natural, and it works.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. You guys can weigh in on the Mariners. Give us some thoughts on the Seahawks, who had their finale, preseason finale against the Green Bay Packers. Not a great game, but it's preseason, and you had a rookie quarterback going up against a bunch of their starters on defense, so it was kind of what we may have expected, knowing that going into the game. We didn't really know, or I didn't know what the Packers were going to do in the way of playing starters. And we got Mike Lefko in for the rest of the afternoon, in for Dave, who's got some business to handle. But yeah, it wasn't, if you're somebody that gets caught up in the results, to me, I don't know how you view preseason. I'm looking at certainly groups like the starting O-line, watching them like a hawk, certainly watching Darnold and the starters. When you get into a game like this, I'm not looking at the scoreboard. I'm just looking at how do this individual, how do they execute? How do they look? I'm not so wrapped up in, they lost 20-7. Who cares?
Well, they're not going to Super Bowl now, Bob.
I guess that's what that means.
Yeah. And
change
your expectations of the season.
Well, always remember the winless Detroit Lions, who went 0-16, were 4-0 in preseason that year.
Because they were the ones trying and no one else was.
Yeah, if you're somebody that gets caught up in wins and losses and all that. But in this game, look, the reality is the star of the show is Jalen Milroe. That's in terms of what are you looking at, who are you looking at? It's Jalen Milroe. He's a curiosity because he's athletically a very gifted individual. And then you look at this game and you go, oh, that's right. He's a rookie. He's a rookie playing against the big boys out there. And it showed. Let's be honest. It showed. He had, 3 fumbles lost, 13 of 24 completion. He wasn't great. And to me, it's not an indictment on him like, told you this guy stinks. Just shows he's a very raw product. He's a very raw talent that needs to be refined. He's not, as much as we had people texting in, he'll be the starter by week 5 or something. Like, come on. This should help you in realizing that's not a realistic statement.
Well, and it was twofold, too, because the Packers starters, as you mentioned, were playing. The Seahawks starters were not. So he was dealing with a backup offensive line.
Yes.
So even if he would have been in there and had some time to develop and do all that, and you had your starting offensive line there, okay, maybe you get a little bit of a better sense of what he could do. But a backup offensive line, and you saw the drop-off. I mean, if they
look like a backup offensive line.
We're anticipating growth and improvement from the Seahawks offensive line, the starting offensive line. The backups have some work. You would hope that does, happen because the starters are getting the majority of the reps and the work in there. So from that point, yes, didn't have any expectations. I think what you learned was about his composure and his poise. And really, I kind of took away more from afterwards, his post-game press conference, because just listening to him, he has that maturity level of a guy who is well beyond just, all right, one preseason start and a handful of snaps the other 2 games and limited reps in practice. A guy who understands that this is going to be a developmental process. It's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be growth. There's going to be struggles along the way. So I came away more impressed knowing that, yeah, the actual play on the field, it was sloppy. It was kind of rough in terms of sheer output, but Milroe afterwards was very, understanding and I think ready to take on the challenge of learning and getting better.
Yeah, he was talking after the game. Again, he had 3 fumbles, all 3 lost, and he talked about learning from his mistakes during the game.
Every turnover that's from the quarterback position, you got to build on it. You got to take care of the football. You got to, all those are on me. I got to be better with ball security. It's tough. When you're in the trenches, they're going to swipe at the ball. Some big, strong dudes. They're heavier than me. You got to protect the ball. It happens. And so, but that one play didn't lose us the game. You got to keep on competing. You got to keep on building. That's a part of the game. And so I'm going to learn from that and grow from it.
Yeah, I think him being able to play the whole game and have that much opportunity, even though he's with backups, is huge. I mean, there's so much for him to learn from. And if he goes out there and he's just slinging it left, right, and he's connecting everywhere, you're going, okay, that's awesome, and certainly builds his confidence, but you're going to learn in a big way from adversity, especially at this level, maybe realizing how fast these guys are or how much time he truly has to hang on to the ball. And again, understanding he's got a backup line in front of him, but it's his first real exposure to NFL football, even though it's preseason. I think this is huge for him. I think in terms of learning, him going back, and he seems like a very conscientious, thoughtful kid. And when he looks at that game tape, it's going to go, yeah, right there, I could have done this. Right there, I should have thrown it away here. I should have done this, that, there. I just think this goes a long way into his development because he does seem to really have that right mindset.
Yeah, we've heard so much about his work ethic and the amount of time he puts into learning and developing, and even from the start of OTAs, and whether it's been Mike McDonald or Sam Darnold, pretty much everyone raves about Milroe and the growth that they've seen, the span of a couple of months. So extrapolate that out and say, look, there are no expectations on him for this year in terms of an actual quarterback who's getting under center, taking snaps, and running the offense. There might be some packages for him. Short yard situations remains to be seen, and maybe you do utilize him as a change of pace guy who just needs to pick up a couple yards. He's not going to be a guy who leads you down the field to win games anytime soon. So to have him in this situation where he can really see how it is under that speed and, linemen are sprinting at you because you're running for your life, and now to take that, harness that game knowledge, and then to sit on the sideline for a year and develop. This is a multi-year process. There should be no expectations. If the people did harbor any aspirations that we've seen of, he can come in because it was a familiar comparison of Russell Wilson, I think that was put to bed. You don't have to worry about that. Now you can look at him and say, learning from Sam Darnold and Drew Lock will help him infinitely moving forward over the next year plus.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And he talked about the importance of just, staying level-headed through the highs and the lows of a game.
Despite anything, where the game went, you got to be the same person. Are you the same person when you're at a high point, or are you the same person when you're at a low point? And as a quarterback, you got to be consistent. No one should be questioning how the quarterback's going to be, despite anything. Fumbles come, interceptions come. No matter false starts, it doesn't matter. Like, you got to keep on competing. You got to keep on being starving. And as a leader at the quarterback position, you got to keep on building. So. Nothing to be discouraged about. Just keep on competing, keep on looking ahead.
See, I love his attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very mature approach and understanding, he's not saying, oh, no big deal, but he's like, look, as the leader, as the quarterback, you can't be super high and super low. You've got to be even keeled. And false start, okay, yeah, maybe you're going to light your guys up and say we can't do that, but you're the one that everybody looks to guide you through the storm, so to speak, when things are bad. You can't be the one freaking out. If you're the general out there, if you're freaking out, everybody else is going to freak out. So I like his mentality. It's a very mature mentality.
Right, and that's why I think press conference itself, I learned a lot more about him and who he might be as a leader somewhere down the road. So it was very exciting to hear all that and to take away, as you mentioned, kind of the wise beyond his years. He's a rookie. He's probably not used to being in this setting. Yeah, sure, at Alabama, you did a lot of media, you dealt with press conferences, but that poise, and to hear him say all of that after a very frustrating game. Because let's be honest, as a competitor, it's still frustrating. It doesn't matter in terms of wins or losses, but no one wants to go out there, regardless of what you're doing. Any kind of competition, regardless of how small it is or what the stakes are, it's frustrating to come out of a game like that. So to hear him do all of that, very encouraging for the Seahawks.
The one thing I'll be curious about, and we'll probably never know this, is what were the Seahawks thinking going into this game in terms of how we're going to use them in the season, and did this shape that at all, this game? Like, do they have in their mind, we're going to utilize them for some packages here and there, have them do this or have them do that, and then they watched them for a full game, went, I don't know if we can do that.
I wonder if they're thinking the Packers shouldn't have played their starters.
Yeah,
maybe they thought the Packers weren't going to play all their starters.
Yeah, I'm guessing they have their plan in place, and maybe this didn't alter it at all. But, it's just curious to see once they got that full look at him, not going up against their guys in practice, but just going up against legit competition, did that shape their plan at all? So we'll never know that, but we'll see. I thought it was a rough day for him. Not sitting here saying it was good, but I think it can be a good thing down the road. The Seahawks are kicking off the regular season next weekend. Today's the last day you can enter to win 4 tickets to watch the Seahawks take on the San Francisco 49ers on September 7th. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776. We'll send you a link to download it. It's completely free. Meanwhile, what does the playoff picture look like for this Mariners team down the stretch? We'll get into that next with Wyman and Bob. Mike Lefko in for Wyman at Seattle Sports on 710.
Blue 88! I said Blue 88! Every morning at 7:45, Brock Heward tackles 3 football questions as only he can.
Is this the offensive line group? Is that the group that should now start?
It's got to be.
So Sundell at center.
Yeah. Yep. Hayes in the barn. This is our group. Let them play together. Let them grow together. And I kind of like the way it all mixes and matches from strengths, experience, and again, comfort level with that center.
Catch every Blue 88 on the Seattle Sports app.
Dave Wyman joined by another Swedish cyberknife patient to offer a glowing endorsement of their prostate cancer treatment. Tim Hunter, a lifelong local radio host, underwent Swedish cyberknife treatment for prostate cancer less than a year ago. How did you hear about Swedish cyberknife?
Well, it was this familiar-sounding voice on the radio telling me about it, and so I thought I'd investigate that. Everything I heard was what I wanted to hear, and so I reached out.
What's it like to go through the cyberknife treatment?
Well, you go in, you do a 5-day-in-a-row stint. You go to the Swedish hospital, and it's they say set aside 45 minutes for each treatment. It's really only about 35 minutes of that little robotic arm dancing around you. There's no pain involved. It's just a matter of listening to music in headphones and trying your best not to move.
Looking back on your Swedish cyberknife experience, what stood out?
It was too easy. It was just too easy. I went through it and I just went, that's it?
Treat prostate cancer with Swedish cyberknife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible, overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Lowe's knows tough jobs call for tougher tools. The new DeWalt Elite Series power tool accessories are built to last for the pro who doesn't stop. With precision fitment, durability, and impact resistance, finishing jobs faster has never been easier. Shop the new DeWalt Elite Series at an everyday low price exclusively at Lowe's. We help, you save.
Now is the time. We talk about it year-round, but roofing season really is upon us. It's Mike Salk here. So what makes it roofing season? Long, dry days where roofing crews can work realistically sun up to sundown. They're cranking out projects all over our region, and Riverside Roofing is, of course, leading the charge. Local to Marysville, Riverside Roofing serves the entirety of Western Washington. They do amazing work. They've earned my recommendation, plus industry awards like GAF Master Elite's President's Club, a status fewer than 1% 10% of roofing companies in the entire country actually achieve. Get a roofing quote in less than 60 seconds using Quick Quote directly on riversideroofingllc.com. It'll pop up as soon as you go on their website. During and after your roofing job, you can expect a yard and driveway totally clean of debris. Behind their national accolades is a family company from right here in Marysville, built upon important local values like trust. That's why Riverside Roofing is the local roofing company you can trust. Go to riversideroofingllc.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FREE to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FREE to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FREE to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FREE to 64,000.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you, 866-979-3776. We got the Mariners in action tonight. The San Diego Padres in town. They're sitting atop the NL West with the Dodgers in a first-place tie. 10 games separate those 2 teams and the next team behind them, which is the Arizona Diamondbacks. So it's a 2-team race in that division. Meanwhile, the Mariners sitting in the AL West, 2 games behind the Astros. 1 game behind the Red Sox for that number 1 wild card spot. Half game behind the Yankees for that number 2 wild card spot. So as we speak, the Mariners are the 3rd wild card team. And the good part of that to this point is that the lead has increased a bit. Royals were rolling. It's now a 3-game gap between the Royals and the Mariners. It's a 4.5-game gap between the Mariners and the Rangers, who have popped in that spot because Cleveland has gone into a tailspin. So just keeping an eye on who's surrounding them, where they're at. They're within striking distance of everybody in front of them. 1 game, 2 games. I mean, you got 1 game between you and the Red Sox. So I'm still hoping, fingers crossed, toes crossed, division. Get the division. It's there to be had. I still feel like the Astros are going to give you the door. You just got to walk through it.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't think it's sounding selfish. I'm going to be disappointed if they don't win the division.
That's kind of selfish.
Yeah, because the playoffs, sure, they don't come around often, and this is a team that should make the playoffs.
They don't.
And we think that, I'm not really concerned about them missing the playoffs at that point. I think because of what you just said with the standings, where they're in a playoff spot and they have breathing room. They're not chasing like they have been the last couple of seasons. So at that point, sure, in 2024 and 2023, any playoff spot would have been nice. At this point, you have a team that is fully healthy. It really is fully healthy for the first time all season. The Astros have just limped along all year, and somehow not only have they stayed in front, since the Mariners then tied them about, a week and a half ago, the Astros have increased that lead. So it's 2 right now, which is surely manageable. That's fine. It's right there. As long as you stay within a series length, I think you're good. But this is a really important stretch because I'm going to get a little nervous if you fall behind that series length of 3 games or so where you're dealing with multiple things. And, you just look at the juxtaposition of against the Padres to the Mariners, Astros with a 10-game homestand with the Rockies coming up first. I think this is the most critical stretch for both of these teams. So wherever the Mariners are after this, I'll feel really good or then feel like, hey, this might be out of reach this season.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to get picky. I want them to win the division as well. If they end up as a wild card, I'm going to be at peace with it because you've been to the playoffs one time since 2001. Once. So, look, it's the old beggars can't be choosers, but you're right. It's right there for them. It's not a pipe dream going, well, it'd be cool if they won the division, but it's not realistic. It's 2 games, and you got a series still with the Astros still coming your way. But you're right about the schedule. I mean, you're looking at this homestand for the Astros starting off with the Rockies and then the 4 with the Angels. And then they've got 3 with the Yankees to round it out. Hopefully the Yankees can get back to who they've been, at least in those 3 games. And hopefully some of these teams are going to play spoiler. That's the other part of it I want to see. They got Texas after that on the road. Texas feeling like, hey, we've got a shot. We're 4.5 games out of the 3rd spot now. So they've got motivation. And hopefully it can cost the Astros is what I'm really hoping, because starting out with, just comparing the 2, they get the Rockies for 3,
right?
And the Mariners have the Padres. That's not even.
I think what stands out and why I feel like the division is so important is because of how vast of an advantage it is to be at home. And we saw it play out in 2022 where the Astros got those first 2 games at home. And that was the difference because the Mariners got 1 shot at it. And all that build-up, it doesn't work out. But, hey, if you're tied in the series or if you're up in the series, you get another day. So to be at home where this team has played really well, we have seen the dramatic difference over these past couple of weeks. If you're the Mariners, you win the division, you have at least 1 series at home in the wild card. If you're one of those top 2 seeds, which maybe is now a little bit out of reach, you get potentially multiple series. You get a bye to the 2nd round. So the huge advantage to be at home for that division series or even that first wild card, we're playing all 3 games at home, looms large for this team in particular, this Mariners team this season with how good they've been.
Yeah, and the other part of that, this whole thing is what Ryan brought up is that, everybody's talking about getting to the playoffs. It's not, hey, let's just get there and okay, we're good. No. Once you get there, you got to make some noise. You're not satisfied with just getting there. And I feel like there's an element of, hey, just get there. And then we'll worry about what they're going to do. It's like, no, this is a team that you expect with the pitching. And if they can be anything like they were in this A's series, they're going to be a nightmare for teams. But they've got to show that they can be that rotation on the road. Part of me was looking at what they did over this A's series going, okay, there it is. This is great. But then I'm going, all right, is this just further fuel to the fire of, oh, they're great at home, but when they hit the road, they're terrible. You know what I mean? Just sort of reemphasized how good they are at home. Because, again, every starter, each of them gave up 1 run. 1 run from each starter in the series, and they all went 6+. So it's exciting. I love that it's coming down the wire. I love the tension of it and everything, but this is a team that needs to make some noise when, not if, but when they get to the postseason.
Yeah, and unfortunately that road issue, you're not going to have that question answered until Friday. You can't do anything about that.
Right.
We'll feel a lot better during this series because the Padres are a dangerous lineup, so I'll feel really good about this team if they get through this Padres series like they did in San Diego earlier in the year. But unfortunately, that looming issue, you have to wait until Friday in Cleveland and then the rest of the way because you have 2 big road trips coming up in this final month, and then that's it. Then the season's pretty much over.
Yeah, it's let's see, we got San Diego, then you're on the road at Cleveland for 3, Tampa for 3, Atlanta for 3, and then you're home for the Cardinals, the Angels for 4. Then this is the crucial part. We'll see where they're at September 16th, standings-wise. But you got 3 with Kansas City, followed by 3 with the Astros. That 6-game stretch right there could make or break where they're at, where their final resting spot will be.
And then the Rockies right after that. So that could be the big advantage. The Mariners could swing it all. If they get through the Astros, maybe they have a lead or they're tied and you get the Rockies right there. But yeah, then the Dodgers. So you're right. Every game is going to take on massive outsized impact.
Well, and then hopefully the Padres can face plant. The Dodgers go on a run. So those final 3 games, the Dodgers will be resting their starters. They'll be resting, hey, we got some guys with some bumps and bruises. We want to go into the postseason healthy. So we're going to play the back end of our lineup is going to be taken over.
Can you imagine, though, if we have something similar to what we have right now, where because the Dodgers and Padres are tied, if that final weekend, both the Dodgers and Mariners are playing to win their respective divisions?
It's rough.
Stressful, but fun weekend at the ballpark.
Exciting, but yeah, very, very stressful. All right, the preseason is in the books for the Seahawks. We'll break down what stood out in the finale and what the final roster could look like coming up. That's Wyman and Bob. Mike Lefko in for Wyman at Seattle Sports on 710.
And now here's Cal Raleigh.
The season of Cal continues.
More history. Goodbye, baseball. Cal has hit more home runs than any catcher.
As Cal rewrites the history books.
He's starting to set a bar that's equal to nobody else.
And builds his case for MVP.
Just trying to stay focused on the main goal, and that's winning baseball games.
This is where you hear it all.
The storybook season.
The home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
Dave Wyman here, and since I stopped playing football, we've been fortunate to live in the same house for over 20 years. That type of longevity is a good thing, except 20 years in the same house means a lot of things start to break. Most recently, it's our windows. Virtually every seal has broken, and that's why I reached out to Harley Exteriors. Chris and Ray came out to the house, and I could instantly tell we'd get along great, and I'd want to do business with them. They're local, they're huge fans of our teams, and big listeners to the station. Better yet, they have the best product. Olympic Series windows offered exclusively through Harley Exteriors are manufactured right here in Washington and designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. That means cooler in the summer, warmer in the winter. Look up Harley Exteriors for your window replacement. In August, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments for 1 year, and an additional $200 off your project. Call 833-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
When the weather changes, your home shouldn't be the one left unprepared. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. We offer the strongest solutions in roofing, siding, decking, windows, and gutters, made for the Pacific Northwest. And right now, get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months or up to $3,000 off your next project. No gimmicks, no stress, just reliability you can count on. Visit stateroofing.com or call 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule your free estimate today.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
Immaculate greens, unrivaled natural beauty, championship caliber conditions. Loomis Trail is the epitome of Northwest golf. With water in play on nearly every hole and tree-lined fairways, Loomis Trail provides a fantastic golf experience for those that want a challenge and those looking for a fun getaway. What round are you up for? Tee times available online at golfloomis.com. Start planning your perfect golf getaway today.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
You still have 40 million plus vehicles globally that are driving around with a potential ticking time bomb, a grenade in either their steering wheel or their dashboard. When we look to what injuries may have transpired from a defective airbag, we generally see loss of vision in an eye, or we see facial lacerations. We also see hearing loss. Unfortunately, we started seeing death after death after death. When that passenger airbag exploded, it basically degloved his entire face. He lost his nose, he lost his right eye. The type of catastrophic injuries that one is more accustomed to seeing in a Hollywood movie, and not something from a device in an automobile that's supposed to protect you. Morgan & Morgan has a national reach in terms of handling and prosecuting cases. Notwithstanding the team of lawyers that we have collected that focus only on product liability day in and day out.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners got a huge test in front of them. The San Diego Padres, who sit atop the NL West along with the Dodgers, tied in that division for first place, come to town. They are 74-57 on the season. This is game one of the three-game series. Bryce Miller on the hill, making his second start since coming off the IL. He'll face off against former A's pitcher for the San Diego Padres, J.P. Sears. So they face another lefty out there. You can catch it all starting at 5:30 with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 710. Game's going on right now. The hated Boston Red Sox are up 1-0 on the Orioles. That game in the bottom of the second in Baltimore, bottom of the second in Miami. No score between the Braves and the Marlins. Top of the second in Cleveland, the Rays and Guardians are scoreless. Just about to get underway. The Yankees host the Nationals. Blue Jays hosting the Twins. Phillies on the road to take on the Mets. Brewers and Diamondbacks in Milwaukee. White Sox and Royals in Chicago.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Coming up at 5 o'clock, Jon Morosi will join us on the program. Talk some baseball with him as we do each and every single week. So stay tuned for that conversation. You guys can text in throughout the show at 866-979-3776. Preseason is done, much to the great delight of a lot of football fans. It's funny. I know a lot of football fans that are hardcores that have, as they've gotten older over the years, just go, I don't care. I want to watch this one guy, this guy here, this guy, and then that's it. Just get me to the real games. They invest less and less time in the preseason. Where are you at with preseason?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. The one downside of this and the shortened preseason in terms of games, I didn't realize how bad it would be to have this extra week. This has made it worse because with the 4 preseason games, you'd go right into the season,
right,
knowing that no one would play in that 4th game, so all the starters would play in the 3rd. Yeah. You'd have some semblance of football, but at least once that was done, you're like, all right, here's the season. It's starting.
This weekend, here it comes.
Now, you have this whole week where nothing's happening. Then you still have to wait all of next week for games to start with the Seahawks. Sure, you have that Thursday night game, but no one's playing in the 3rd preseason game either, so you're getting fewer and fewer meaningful football games and longer until the actual season begins.
Yeah.
See, I'd be fine scrapping.
What's it going to be
all
like
the preseason.
when it's 2 preseason games?
Yeah.
When they go to 18 regular.
I know it's very important for roster battles and those final spots and who's going to be the 5th or 6th wide receiver and who's going to be the 3rd or 4th running back. But yeah, when you have a game like Seahawks-Packers on Saturday, there were some great moments. There were some cool individual plays. But the entirety of the game, it was
a tough watch,
okay,
man.
You said it. Yes, it was a tough watch. It was very tough. So to anyone who did watch, and I am curious to hear from anyone who did, who sat down and watched uninterrupted, why and what did you get out of it? Because good for you. I couldn't do it. I was more dealing with baseball things as well, but still. I think especially when the Mariners are in the midst of a playoff push like this, it's hard to turn around and be like, let me sit inside on this beautiful Saturday and watch Game 3 of the preseason.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's for the coaches. Obviously, it's incredibly crucial to the coaches and the players that are fighting for their professional lives out there. But fans, unless you're just somebody that's like, I don't care about baseball. If you're a baseball fan, this is like football. Every single game has so much consequence attached to it, and we're coming down the wire. And this is preseason game number 3. You're looking at backups behind backups, and it looked like a preseason game. There were a lot of mistakes. It was sloppy. There are guys you're going, wait, who's that guy? I've never heard that name before. So it's if you love it, great. That's cool. But it does become a bit of a slog to get through that beginning to end. You're kind of going, okay, all right.
Well, and for portion of the population, Bob, you're not one of these fantasy football people, but there's a big portion of the population that loves the real game. So this also kind of compounds the fact that, all right, we're still kind of far from meaningful football because then you have all your fantasy players that you're monitoring and you don't get that in the preseason.
Yeah.
So that's another element that's taken away in the preseason.
Yeah. By the way, the Orioles just tied up this game with a home run. That's a shame. Colton Cowser with a home run there for the Orioles. So that one knotted up at 1 apiece.
Okay. Distraction here for a second because the Orioles game is on. So I forget who it was, but someone was trying to describe in a radio appropriate format the Orioles celebration where they have a lot of hoses coming out. The water distribution system. So that just made me think of that because we saw that celebration.
Water distribution system.
There are many different nozzles that come out of this water surface that's distributed. So I can't think of a way to describe it on air either.
It's a sprinkler system of
sprinkler
sorts.
system.
I don't know. It's unique, but go O's. Meanwhile, for those of you that did watch the game, you guys can text in 866-979-3776. What stood out to you during the preseason finale? I think, again, all eyes were on Jalen Milroe. He was the most interesting, the most well-known player out there. Certainly, he's the one that people have, dreams about him becoming the next Russell Wilson, the kid. It's not a first round, not a second round pick, but he's a project. And oh my goodness, look at it. He's a diamond in the rough, and that still may become true. Who knows? It's not this year. But what does he look like down the road? How much time does he get? There were guys. One of the things that stood out to me, I thought was interesting, was, and I put this in the email last night, that MVS was out there a lot. You see starters out there, so I'm looking at that going, okay, how do they view him? Is he a guy that's, is he a bubble guy? Is he locked in because he's a veteran and they've got trust and faith in him and he doesn't need that much time leading into that? I don't have a sense of how the team feels about him. I remember I brought up with Dave, everybody loves Horton and it feels like he's kind of maybe moved up the depth chart. Is MVS going to be fighting for a spot? And I think at the time Dave was like, no, he'll be on the team. I don't know. Is he? Did you find it weird that he was out there as much as he was with all of these backups?
Yeah, and I think the answer to that question is no one probably could have anticipated how quickly Torrey Horton, recovered because he was coming off an injury, and then how good he looked.
Yeah.
And then we keep hearing, he's going to be the steal of the draft if he's healthy. Or, Daniel Jeremiah came on after the draft and said on our station, if he wouldn't have been injured, this guy's day 1 pick or a day 2 pick, I'm paraphrasing here, but he was very high on him and thought he was the steal of the draft. So the fact that Torrey Horton excelled that quickly certainly changed the entire calculus of that wide receiver room. Because if you think about it, before the draft, you had to overhaul your room completely. So you bring in Cooper Kupp, you bring in MVS, and that's it. Those are all the guys you had along with JSN. Okay, there's Torrey Horton in the 5th round coming off an injury. No way you could have thought he was going to be a guy who challenges for that wide receiver number 3 or 4 as a starter here, and now he's in there. So, yeah, I think it's certainly a possibility that MVS is fighting for a spot on this roster. I know we're going to talk about some of the projections that Brady Henderson and Bob Condotta put out there, but Brady had a big paragraph about that, and he kind of acknowledged, look, this guy is paid some guaranteed money, but he's limited. He doesn't play special teams. Mm-hmm. You have all these other guys like a Cody White or a Jake Bobo who you utilize in other facets of this team. So, yes, there is definitive doubt about MVS, and I'm kind of surprised. I think the Seahawks have done a good job, at least right now, keeping all this close to the vest, because by 1 o'clock tomorrow is the roster deadline. You got to be down to 53, and it's evolving because other guys get cut and maybe you pick someone else up, but you have to make massive cuts over these next couple of days. And other teams we've seen, 11 to 12 or 15 guys get leaked out there. The Seahawks really, no one has trickled out yet. So these decisions are going to be happening soon, or maybe they're happening right now. I know we're going to hear from Mike McDonald, I think, later today because they're practicing. And then John Schneider's going to talk a little bit later in the week after all the decisions have been made. But I bet that's one of the tougher decisions they're going back and forth with right now.
MVS? Yeah, I would guess they are. A couple of thoughts from Mike McDonald on how he felt the game and the stretch of practices in Green Bay went for this team.
Obviously didn't go in our favor. A lot of things that we're going to be able to improve on. But coming out of the game, you're thinking about, hey, let's look at the week. I think it was a great week for our football team, our organization. Look, it's not easy to pull these things off, to kind of move your organization across the country. Being in Seattle and being able to have to pop around and get out here in Green Bay is a big to do. And so I appreciate our organization, especially Jody, John, Chuck, just making it happen and understanding how important it is for us. And it was great. It was great for our team. And I felt like we got a lot better and got a great evaluation for our players as well.
So yeah, solid week, and Dave was kind of giving us the insight on just how much stuff gets moved there, how much it takes to set up shop, so to speak, for a week out there for one practice versus another team. Then you had your regular practice, then the game, but it's a big undertaking, and it is very beneficial, I would imagine, more than just going up against your own guys, just having that ability to practice against another team and then the game. But he was asked if there was anybody specifically who stood out during the last couple of days here.
That's a good question. There's some guys that we wanted to have great competitive practice and show up and make plays, and they did that, and that was encouraging. I wouldn't say it's hard to put in this amount of body work with the amount of reps that we ask our guys to do, and then they have this whole body work going in, and all of a sudden they're a different person. I think we have a pretty good feel for what guys are capable of, and what we expect of those guys. But it was good to see in a different setting, challenging place to come in and play a really good football team and practice against those guys. It was good to see those guys make those type of plays.
Yeah, Bob, I thought it was interesting that all of this, and this was post-game, so these are post-game questions to McDonald after Saturday's game, but it was all kind of lumped together in the starters didn't play, so in totality, how was this stretch of the practice where you saw the ones and then the game? Because, we talked about it. You're not going to get too much out of the final preseason games. There's only so much to ask Mike McDonald once you got past the Jalen Milroe questions. But right there is kind of why, and you and Dave talked about it a lot, why coaches do love joint practices, because it's a two-pronged effect where you can see the starters in structured settings, then you also can see those guys who are fighting for roster spots. Whereas fans might not have the same weight, but you don't have to worry about splitting time or splitting reps with, all right, we got to see our starters. We want to get them in for like a drive like they did against Kansas City. But also, if we're trying to make a decision about wide receiver number 5 or running back number 4, we don't have to worry about them taking up reps if we're trying to get our starters in. So it seems like that's the proper balance that a lot of coaches like, especially in the third preseason game or week. It was a little strange that they did it last year in game 2 against the Titans was their joint practice week. I know you kind of have to be at the mercy of teams that are agreeing to do that. Not all teams want to, but this seemed like it was perfectly structured and ideally what the Seahawks would want to do moving forward. You get that in the final week. You get your starters in preseason game number 2 for maybe like a drive, and then you get the joint practice, and then they don't have to play in the finale.
I'd like to see him have a joint practice out here.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
We all were hoping the Chiefs would do it, and Andy Reid was like, no, we don't do that.
Yeah. Why wouldn't a team want to come out to Seattle during the summer? It's beautiful. It's beautiful out here. great facilities.
I can't think of a reason why not. I mean, teams like their own building, facility. You've talked about how much of a hassle it is to move all the stuff out here.
Don't be scared.
Not every team wants to do it. I'll throw in some free paddleboard lessons for Mahomes or something. I don't know. Just, hey, if he wants to come out here next time.
Some text coming in. 253 said, I watched the game and all I got was annoyed.
About what?
Yeah, I don't know what.
About the fumbles?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You're putting too much into it. Bryant in the 206 said, what stood out was the O-line depth is really, really thin. We are one injury away from a major problem and two away from a disaster. I think you're underselling the impact that the veterans and starters have on that guy, right? So hypothetically, let's say Grace Abel goes down and you put in whoever. It's going to be Christian Haynes. It's going to be whoever.
It's not going to be all.
He's surrounded
backups,
by Charles Cross. He's surrounded by, they've got the other guys to sort of help carry the load. So you're right. I don't think it's a deep group. I'll agree with Bryant on that, but I don't think it's a major problem. And then if two leave, it's a disaster. Sure, it could be problematic, but it's putting faith, in the guys around him to sort of, look, we got your back. We're going to, and more importantly, Kubiak calling an offense that's going to account for the deficiencies that they may have. So I'm not that worried about if guys go down, we got a major problem. It's not helpful, but the part I do agree with, I think we saw, it doesn't feel like it's a deep group beyond the starters. And, collectively, they didn't look awesome in this game, to say the least.
It's jarring when you see them all in there at once. And so one thing we'll hear about it, why, and sweeping the dial, Christian Haynes didn't play. So that's one of your backups that didn't play. Yeah. And if he's a guy that has been a, quote, starter at times, or, that's your next line there. So if you think about, okay, who would your actual first guy up be when it comes to backups? If it's an interior, Christian Haynes or Olu or Jalen Sundell. When you just look at, all right, one guy coming in, you feel a little bit better than, all four of those guys or five of those guys out there at once. And then you see Milroe running for his life and fumbling because they were outmanned. That's fair. That was the most jarring and concerning part of it. But I'm not going to say you never have to worry about it, but knock on wood, barring anything catastrophic and completely unheard of in the NFL, your starters are going to be in there. Maybe one guy takes a couple of reps, or you have to have one guy in for a game or two like we saw last year. But yes, the starting line is going to be in and mostly intact all season.
Well, and they gave you reason to be really optimistic.
Yeah,
they look fantastic.
Yeah, the week before. They go back to that instead of the Packers game.
Yeah, they look fantastic. By the way, Matt in Mercer Island said, Lefko, a junction controlling flow to multiple destinations from a central point is often referred to as a manifold. I think they're talking about
so that's the Orioles distribution system.
I guess.
Someone, I can't say it on air, but just look up what it's actually called, and then you'll see how we're having trouble describing it. So
but one more from Mike McDonald here, and we were talking about the receivers and MVS and what could be going on there, and he was asked about the possibility of just keeping 5 wide receivers as opposed to 6.
It's fair to say it's part of the conversation. We haven't made any decisions yet. Set in stone, but I think because of the personnel groups that we are and the players that we have, that's something that we have to consider in the next few days.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And you brought up that Brady and Bob Condotta. I sent both those links last night. They both did their projections, and these are opinions. They're not working off inside knowledge or anything. We'll see what happens. But just looking at the wide receivers, Brady had them going with 5. And he has them going with JSN and Cooper Kupp, obviously. And then the next 3, Torrey Horton, Derek Young, Jake Bobo. And then he starts off his explanation saying MVS looks like a candidate to be traded or cut. The Seahawks signed the speedy receiver to a 1-year, $4 million deal. $1.5 million signing bonus, the other $1.5 guaranteed, another $1.5 guaranteed. But the Horton 5th-round pick has looked like their 3rd best receiver. MVS doesn't play special teams, and if he's no better than a 4th wide receiver, Seattle might balk at paying him another $2.5 million. Complicating matters is the $1.5 million of his $2.245 million base salary is guaranteed. He also came on late while Horton has been sidelined with an ankle injury that doesn't sound serious. And then he talks about Bobo had the concussion in this game. He said the fact MVS was playing in this game seems like another indication that he's far from a lock to make the team. I tend to agree with that. Not because I was saying that earlier, but I feel like, he's I don't know. I don't know how they view him, or if they look at him as a need, because you've got veteran leadership in there. You've got Cooper Kupp there, so he's looked at as a veteran who's been through it. As far as receivers go, from Bob Condotta's point of view, he goes JSN, Cooper Kupp. He's got MVS making it. He's got Torrey Horton, Jake Bobo, and Steve Sims. So he's got 6.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have Derek Young in there or Cody White. Neither had Cody White. So, yeah, and that's a guy. We talked about this as well, and I'm sure you've seen this throughout the history of football. Every year in training camp, there's a player or players that catch your eye, and you're watching that guy and go, man, this guy is lighting it up, whether it's a receiver, a running back, a cornerback, a linebacker, whatever it is. You're looking at, oh, this guy's made the team. And then, lo and behold, they get cut. They get released. And you're like, what happened to Kason Williams? What happened to Troy Maine Pope? Yeah. What happened to this guy? Guys who shine in preseason. And for me, I look at it and go, okay, I think Cody White had some nice moments in this game. I think the running back, Wright, has looked good this preseason. Jacardia Wright. Mm-hmm. I feel like those are guys that are going to be ones we look at and go, hey, they feel like they've done enough to potentially make this team, but they'll get cut.
Yeah, Cody White had that touchdown on Saturday, and you look at just that in terms of sheer output. Okay, hey, Cody White, he should make the team, right? Well, he has the fiercest battle. So there's a lot more on the line for someone like Cody White than there is for any of these starters that are in second tier, where you can go to a backup at any given spot and they're pretty comfortable that they're going to make the team. So not to say that someone's trying harder than another player, but they have more opportunities because you need more on tape. You need to see more out of someone like Cody White than you do out of an A.J. Barner or even an Elijah Arroyo, because the Seahawks really wanted him. They moved up, and they didn't move up for him, but they took him in the second round. It's a guy that is going to make the team. So if we're not talking a lot about someone like Elijah Arroyo, and we are Cody White, yeah, it's because Cody White needs to make this team. You're going to see more of him. Or Jake Bobo was kind of that guy that you kind of thought, all right, well, his roster spot is a little in jeopardy as well. So I am curious to see that. Is it 5? Is it 6? I think you and I actually, last week we're talking about this, that wide receiver is the most interesting roster spot right now when it comes to the cutdowns. Because everything else, it's pretty much settled. Maybe there's one surprising guy out of a running back that you're not exactly accounting for, like a Damian Martinez, 7th-round pick. Do you cut him? Okay, it stinks to cut a draft pick, but you might have to just because you're going to keep a fullback. You're keeping Robbie Oots, so there might not be room for someone like Martinez. So it wouldn't be as surprising to see someone like that get cut. But there's just a lot more on the line for someone like Cody White. And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, taking a look at the running backs, just from the perspective of Brady Henderson and Bob Condotta, who both released what their projected cuts would be. Looking at Brady, he's got 4 running backs: Zach Charbonnet, K9, George Holani, and Robbie Oots. Mm-hmm. Those are his 4. And then looking at Condotta, he's got K9, Charbonnet, Holani, and Oots. So they're in lockstep. Those are the 4. So Martinez.
Yeah. So really you have 3 and a fullback. And then, we've kind of talked about it. Does Jalen Milroe get in as a short yardage kind of guy? Comes in at quarterback if you're in a 4th and 1. We saw how much difficulty they had getting short yardage in those goal line situations or in those must-have situations last year.
Well, to me, that was about the old line.
That was the old line. But if you need a quarterback who can kind of be more of like a running back guy, we're not going to run Sam Darnold right into that line. I don't think you want to risk Sam Darnold taking a lot of quarterback sneaks.
Right.
So you would have someone like Jalen Milroe potentially in addition to those running backs, and then a true fullback. So I think it is tough to say that, look, you want to give a draft pick opportunities because you spent a draft pick on them. You have limited draft picks, but at this point, it does seem like Martinez might not have a role on this roster.
Yeah, maybe he becomes a practice squad guy, if another team doesn't pick him up and put him on their roster. But, yeah, we'll see who, that's the other part. Some of these guys may get cut. They end up on your practice squad if they don't get picked up elsewhere. So, and you're going to pick up, I'm sure they've got a list of guys from other teams that they're kind of keeping an eye on that are potential cuts from, all right, keep an eye on these guys from the Packers. We just saw them, and let's keep an eye on these guys from this team. So.
And that's the one thing I think people forget, which is kind of unfortunate, that the 53-man roster at 1 o'clock tomorrow is not the final 53-man roster.
Right.
You might have someone exactly who you said that, we need maybe a backup guard because the O-line depth is thin. Hey, let's go get this guy. So, unfortunately, there are some guys who probably are on the roster bubble that might end up getting cut over the next couple days, even if they've made this initial 53-man roster.
Yeah, and special teams is going to be a big deal. As much as I think we're looking offense and defense, special teams is huge to obviously the coaching. It's huge to the success of your team. We just don't, as fans, I think, put a ton of emphasis on it. But I think guys that are, this guy's a linebacker, Buddy plays special teams well. This guy's a receiver, Buddy's a great special teams player. Whatever they are, their natural position. If they're an asset on special teams, that goes a long way versus, as you brought up about MVS, he doesn't play special teams, so that may be his Achilles heel there. Meanwhile, Seahawks kicking off the regular season next weekend, and today is the last day you can enter to win 4 tickets to watch the Seahawks take on the 49ers on September 7th, and all you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab, which is where, Lefko? Where's that Win tab?
I need to make a video showing people, a little tutorial. Bottom right corner of the app.
Not the website.
Win.
The app.
No, the actual app on your phone or iPad or tablet. So, got to go there.
All right, it's right there. If you don't already have the app, you can just text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776, and we'll send you a link to download it. It's completely free. It's at the right price. Meanwhile, we saw the other extreme from this Mariners rotation over the weekend. We'll get into what that means for the rest of the season. Coming up next, it's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
That roar coming from the corner of Edgar and Dave, it's different.
This place is electric when we get crowds like this.
The Mariners have T-Mobile rocking with playoff fever.
Cal Raleigh with his historic 49th home run of the year.
Tonight, it's the first of 3 between 2 teams locked in tight division battles. Mariners, Padres. First pitch at 6:40. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 5:30 on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
This weather is beautiful. This is motorcycle weather. I know a lot of you have texted in saying you're out there as much as I am, just trying to soak up this weather while we can before it gets cold and rainy. It's perfect time to ride. But when you ride, obviously you assume a bit more risk than in a car. And if you're somebody out there that's been in a motorcycle crash, perhaps you've been injured, let me help you out here. Do not settle for a law firm that says that they're motorcycle lawyers. You got to trust the ones who actually live it, and that is Law Tigers. You see them everywhere. You see the billboards, and they've been a part of the writing community for nearly a quarter century nationwide, and they're there when you need them. You get in an accident, they are there 24/7, 365 days a year, because riders deserve real support when they need it most. So Law Tigers is the resource you can count on, the one you can turn to when you're in need. And as I said, you see them everywhere at all the events, supporting all the clubs, all the shops. You see the tents and the vans everywhere, the billboards certainly. Law Tigers are always by your side. And the beauty is your case evaluation. It's completely free. There are no fees until your case settles. They don't get paid until you get paid. So with the Law Tigers, you never ride alone. Law Tigers are Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
From the roof to the deck, the siding to the gutters, and energy-efficient windows, State Roofing and Exteriors is your one-stop shop for home protection. With over 55 years serving Western Washington, we don't just work here, we live here. We know what your home is up against when the cold sets in and the rain starts falling. Right now, we're making it easier than ever to get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's almost over, but the heat is pressing on. If you've got battery trouble, stop by AutoZone for free battery testing. It may just need a charge, and we'll do that for free too. If you do need a battery, we've got options starting at just $89.99. And we'll recycle your old battery for free. Now that's a strong start. Don't miss the end of summer sale. Now at AutoZone until September 22nd.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You ever wake up with a sore throat, feeling a little off, and you know you're getting sick? Well, getting sick and going on the IL isn't an option, especially for me when I'm traveling for work. You can try to see a doctor, well, good luck there, or go sit for hours in an urgent care. Nope. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. This isn't some cheap first aid kit, okay? Your medical emergency kit comes packed with doctor-prescribed meds. It's like having an urgent care and a pharmacy right there in your home. If you're coming down with the flu, bam, here's your Z-Pack. You've got gastrointestinal issues, here's your Bactrim. From Z-Pack to ivermectin, amoxicillin, and doxycycline to treat strep, pneumonia, sinus infections, UTIs, COVID, and more. It's all right there in your kit. Just match your symptoms to the guide or talk with their telehealth doc. No doctor waiting rooms, no pharmacy lines. Order online in minutes and get $50 off with code SPORTS at urgentcarekit.com/sports. Get yours now at urgentcarekit.com/sports, promo code SPORTS.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Seattle, your waterfront park is here. Celebrate the opening of 20 acres of world-class public space on the downtown shoreline at the grand opening celebration September 6th. Enjoy free live performances, family activities, cultural experiences, and more across the entire park, from Overlook Walk to Pier 62. Join Friends of Waterfront Park in the city of Seattle for this once-in-a-generation event. Be part of history. Plan your visit at waterfrontparkseattle.org. This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mariners and Padres get things going tonight. Game 1 of that series is happening. You can catch it right here. Seattle Sports on 710 beginning at 5:30, an hour from now, with the pregame show. 6:40 first pitch. Bryce Miller on the hill. And hopefully these three starts goes Miller, Castillo, Wu. Hopefully can match what we saw in this A's series where it went Wu, Kirby, Gilbert. And each starter gave up one run in their start and went at least 6 innings. So you had Wu, who went 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, 88 pitches, incredibly efficient. He was outstanding. Kirby, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks. Very out of the ordinary for him, but 3 strikeouts, 98 pitches. And then Gilbert was spectacular. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 13 strikeouts, a career high, 93 pitches. So each Kirby had the walks were a little out of the ordinary, but gave you 6 and 1. Got 7 and 1 from Wu, 6 and 1 from Gilbert. How can you ask for more? I mean, brilliance, absolute brilliance. And if they can I don't expect that every time through, but if you can get in the neighborhood, I feel like the offense, while inconsistent, as we've seen in the second game of the series, is going to be able to back up that, to be able to make that play, right? It just, that's what we've been looking for. That is the kind of pitching you've been hoping for through each man of this rotation. I'm, again, still giving a little bit of grace to Bryce Miller, who goes tonight, because tonight's his second start off the IL. Hopefully he's 6-3. Give me that, and I will be happy as a clam. I don't know if it'll be good enough to win. We'll see what the offense does, but 6-3, you did your job.
Yeah, for one way or another, I was very impressed with all these starters, even Kirby, and the walks kind of out of the ordinary, but he's kind of talked about becoming more comfortable with not just solely living in the strike zone, because we've seen the issues. Yeah, we've seen the issues with that. So he's run into a lot of contact at times over the course of his career. So he's getting more comfortable with having to kind of purpose pitch some balls. And he mentioned how he had to grind through it on Saturday, but because he grinded through that with allowing just the one run, that was impressive. So I liked that from Kirby. Woo's outing was just, it was kind of hilarious. It was so dominant. And the one blemish, this is wild. And I only knew the stat because I was doing pregame and I found it and I was like, oh, this is probably going to be relevant. And it was. So Brent Rooker came into his career against Woo.
Owning him.
Struggling.
He was owning him here in this series, though.
2 for 20 against Brian Woo, Brent Rooker. And his only 2 hits against him were home runs. So, of course, he got the home run. I was like, oh, there he is, 3 for 21 all time, and his 3 hits were home runs. So that was it. That was the only blemish. Woo was fantastic. You know, that's everything you wanted to see out of the guy. And then Logan Gilbert. It's like he flipped the switch of, okay, there's Walter to the extreme.
Yeah.
You knew Walter would have a bounce back and that Logan Gilbert would come back and show something more than he did against the Phillies, but all the way to the no one's going to touch me. I'm just going to strike out every single person I face. So Logan Gilbert, incredibly impressive. Great to see that again from a guy that you expected something close to that for most of this season.
Did that ease any, and you guys can text in on this too, weigh in on this, Mariner fans, 866-979-3776. Those 3 starts, you didn't win, you won 2 of the 3, but just seeing what those individuals did that ease your mind at all based on what we saw on the road, that road trip, which was not good? I mean, we talked about it. 2 innings out of Logan Gilbert was dreadful. You got 4 innings out of Castillo. You got 4+ out of Kirby. I mean, it was just one after another, just going, and you kind of came out of that road trip going, oh boy, we got problems. And for them to come out and pitch like that just gave me a sense of, okay, that's right. That's who these guys are. But then by the same token, I'm going, this is kind of who they've been at home. Is that just when they hit the road again, are we going to be, is it going to be hold on to the edge of your seat here, or are they going to be something closer to what we just saw?
On one hand, for Gilbert, yes, it eases some concern because he hadn't been going deep into outings, whether it was home or the road. So to that aspect of it, yes, that feels a lot better that he can rack up that amount of strikeouts and go 6 innings. But there's always going to be that, well, okay, what do they do next start on the road? Because when you go on the road for 6, you're going to have, or 9. So, yeah, everyone's going to pitch on the road. So all these guys are going to make a turn on the road. That's where you kind of have to see, it's the wait and see. With someone like Gilbert, I do want to see from the 2 extremes, very bad against the Phillies, very good against the A's, where he is in his next start. Against what? The Guardians. It'll be like, it'll be the Guardians. So where he is in his start against the Guardians. Kirby, strangely enough, his last kind of, quote, road start wasn't good, but I feel a little better about him because in 6 of his last 7, he's had 6-inning outings, and that start in Williamsport, it's just such a weird situation. You know, all these kids, it's a tiny ballpark. You were out there all day.
Kids screwing up the whole thing.
Yeah, kids are just the worst. They're all yelling. They don't be quiet during the games. But it is a different kind of feel and aspect to it. It's a small park, weird circumstance where they were there all day.
Yeah.
They got to the park so early because they were talking to all these kids, and Kirby probably got annoyed by them. So I am more prone to just kind of wash that one and say, all right, Kirby, I feel comfortable with on the road. But again, you'll have to see it. So for all these guys, there's the caveat. You'll have to see it. Woo, I'm not concerned at all. Woo's just going to be 6 innings every single time. He has been the most consistent guy all year. So I don't have no worries about him. But yeah, Miller, because his first start was on the road, you still want to see something. And Castillo, that's gonna be the biggest
That's the one I'm watching the closest.
Yeah, not the what if, the what we get
Yeah.
So I won't have my concerns eased until that next road start happens.
We talked about it. He started this homestand. And that's, again, on the heels of a disastrous road trip where everybody was fans, probably the team in the clubhouse was feeling bad. Like, that was just, ugh. Yeah. So it was crucial that they get that first game and that he looked good. In my opinion, he just had to set the tone, and he did. And he talked about how he wanted to get him off to a good start after that road trip.
I felt it was important to come in and set the tone after such a bad road trip. You get off to a bad start today and just kind of it leaks a little bit, and just want to make sure I came out with good energy and flip the page, turn the page, make sure the road trip's over, and get to taking advantage of a homestand.
And he did. He did his job as the ace of this rotation, and he looked every bit of it. That was much needed, and he was spectacular. And then we had Kirby, who, again, all three, 1 run allowed each. So I'm not going to complain about how he got there. His was a little more adventurous. He had 3 walks. He had some traffic, and he talked about, the good and the bad from the outing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never out of it. It's 3-0, 3-1. I'm always going to fight to get back in the count. I had 3 walks tonight, whatever. But, I was able to limit the damage when I got the guys on base, which was good. I was trying to be a little fine, just really fine tonight, just really get in there. And I think mentally that was kind of hurt me a little bit. I just attack the zone, get ahead, instead of trying to really throw these crazy strikes. I'm kind of glad I just grinded out tonight.
Like 3 walks, whatever. So he's not taking each walk so personally,
right.
and he is trying to induce a little more chase, so getting outside the zone. And, the walk rate may go up, but, look, if he's going to induce more, strikeouts or guys rolling over on pitches because they're chasing, whatever, then I'm for it. And then we had Gilbert with just a career high in strikeouts and just an absolute gem that was much needed.
Here comes the 1-2. Swing and missed. It's picked up by Cal Raleigh. He throws to first base. Wow. That's the out. That's the strikeout. Number 13. A new career high for Logan Gilbert. A nasty breaking ball in the dirt again. He has been vicious all day, and he sets a career high with 13 strikeouts. Just 1 run allowed in 6 innings. Pure domination from Logan Gilbert.
So great to see. Great to see. Let's hope Bryce Miller can keep the vibes going tonight. Just give us I'm setting it, give me 6-3. Just give me a quality start. You can give a few runs, okay. Give me 5 at least.
Yeah.
At least 5 innings and keep the team in the game. And then we'll move from there. So we'll see what goes on. Meanwhile, Logan Gilbert said he did something during the game yesterday that he's never done before. We're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
And now here's Cal Raleigh.
The season of Cal continues.
More history. Goodbye, baseball. Cal has hit more home runs than any catcher.
As Cal rewrites the history books.
He's starting to set a bar that's equal to nobody else.
And builds his case for MVP.
Just trying to stay focused on the main goal, and that's winning baseball games.
This is where you hear it all.
The storybook season.
The home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and Seattle Sports on YouTube.
It's interesting. I've heard from a lot of you on the text line, a lot of former athletes, just a lot of people who have been physical throughout their life, living with different injuries, different ailments, and oftentimes you start thinking about surgery because of the pain. Maybe you're thinking about joint replacement in some cases. Well, before you do that, let me help you out here. It's Bob Stelton here, and I'm telling you got to go see Dr. Mark Wagner, medical doctor, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Now, I went there because I was having issues with my hip. 14 years of jiu-jitsu, loved every moment of it, but it, to be honest, beat the daylights out of my body. Back issues, ankle issues, and the hip was really in bad shape. I had a torn labrum, frayed tendon, some arthritis developing in there. The bursa sac was inflamed. Everything was wrong in there. So I went to go see Dr. Mark Andrews before I started thinking about surgery, and he was very upfront, very honest about the whole thing. Said, look, this isn't going to cure everything. but it's going to go a long way into helping relieve a lot of what you're going through. So I said, let's do it. I'd heard so many patients raving about the results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner, and I can't tell you how glad I am that I did it. It is night and day. I'm walking around without pain. More importantly, I'm able to sleep without pain. I couldn't get comfortable in bed. Now I can. It is a drastic difference. And Dr. Wagner's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joint. So people who have severe osteoarthritis, maybe it's even down to bone on bone, they're back to doing what they enjoy doing and doing it without pain and, more importantly, without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I had, it's a shoulder, a knee, an elbow, an ankle, whatever it is, before you choose surgery, do what I did. Go see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
Need a break from everything? Escape to a place where anything is possible and the fun never stops. At Silver Reef Casino Resort, you'll discover world-class dining, championship caliber golf, and so much more. Come join the fun and see why we've been consistently rated one of the region's top destinations. Visit silverreefcasino.com to book your stay and discover all the exciting events and promotions we have in store for you. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5, exit 260.
Find out more at silverreefcasino.com.
Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Now is the time. We talk about it year-round, but roofing season really is upon us. It's Mike Salk here. So what makes it roofing season? Long, dry days where roofing crews can work realistically sun up to sundown. They're cranking out projects all over our region, and Riverside Roofing is, of course, leading the charge. Local to Marysville, Riverside Roofing serves the entirety of Western Washington. They do amazing work. They've earned my recommendation, plus industry awards like GAF Master Elite's President's Club, a status fewer than 1% of roofing companies in the entire country actually achieve. Get a roofing quote in less than 60 seconds using Quick Quote directly on riversideroofingllc.com. It'll pop up as soon as you go on their website. During and after your roofing job, you can expect a yard and driveway totally clean of debris. Behind their national accolades is a family company from right here in Marysville, built upon important local values like trust. That's why Riverside Roofing is the local roofing company you can trust. Go to riversideroofingllc.com.
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener on Sunday, September 7th. Open the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter through the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds of winning 4 tickets to the Seahawks season opener. Do it every day, August 19th through August 25th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win. Only from the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed, all in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data, except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards, USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FREE to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FREE to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FREE to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FREE to 64,000.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the Dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Cal Raleigh, notably unchanged in his demeanor throughout anything that really happens. Dave likes to make the joke yeah, that was cool. After hitting the biggest home run in Mariners history to get them to the playoffs, or one of the biggest home runs. But Cal yesterday, after when he hit home run 48 and then home run 49, was talking about why he was a little hesitant to go take a curtain call.
It was really cool. I didn't know that'd be a thing. They were kind of pushing me out there, and I was like, I don't want to look dumb if I go out there, but it was really cool to see everybody up on their feet, and special moment, so I'll definitely remember that.
I don't want to look dumb if I go out there. Did you think he'd go out there and the place would go silent? Yeah. He's waving.
What are you doing?
Waving the helmet. Everybody's just silent, sitting on their hands.
Like, who's that?
Yeah. What do you come? We just cheered for you. How much cheering do you need, man? How insecure are you? No. It was great. It was great that he went out there and did that, and the fans loved it and were going crazy, and he deserved it. I mean, how often do you truly get a legit curtain call? I mean, and he earned every bit of it. And look, he couldn't be more adored by this fan base. And I think he gets it. I think he feels that and hears it. And it was just an incredible moment out there.
Sweeping the Dial.
All right, so following up on that, and it was pretty cool that Logan and Cal, 2 guys who we know about their friendship, and the video they put out still in spring training was classic, but these 2 love to kind of rib each other. So Logan Gilbert, after the game, when he had a terrific game also, he was talking about Cal and said that during Cal's 3rd at-bat, after he'd hit a home run in his 1st at-bat and 2nd at-bat, he did something that he's never done before during a game.
Yeah, I give him a hard time. He just loves the spotlight. So
yeah, take it from you. He steals the spotlight from you all the time.
It is cool. I'm always in the tunnel during everything when we hit, and his 3rd at bat, I came out just to watch, and I never do that. But he set the record. He hit 2 home runs, and I'm like, he's gonna hit another one. I know it. So
and he struck out, so he probably go back to the tunnel now, or what?
So that's on me. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I mean that just says a lot about what he's doing at the plate. It's like must-watch TV when he's just having a normal at bat. It's crazy.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty. And I like that he struck out, so I guess I won't do that again. But yeah, I mean, it's those 2 watching their interaction is classic. And then for anybody that hasn't seen that video, the spring training video of those 2 doing the lie detector test, it is classic. And whoever wrote the questions nailed it. They crushed it. I think what made it the funniest element of it is the skepticism and the suspicion coming from Logan Gilbert. Just looking at the guy going, is this real? I mean, I guess he's real. He has a website, but I still think something's weird. Like you could tell the whole time. And even we talked to him off
a few
air
weeks
about
after,
it, and that was legitimate. Like he's kind of smiling, but you can tell he kind of thinks, yeah, I think that might be BS. I think that was kind of a setup.
Sweeping the Dial.
Bob, we talked about the backup offensive line that played for the Seahawks in that 3rd preseason game. One of the backups, though, as you'd expect at this point, Christian Haynes, did not play. And afterwards, Mike McDonald explained why Christian Haynes did not play in the preseason finale.
He's got a pec. It's not as serious as we thought. So we're kind of evaluating it right now to see what we're dealing with going into next week. But we're not sure right now how long it's going to be.
From the joint practice?
I believe so, yeah.
So he sustained it in the joint practice, and we'll see if he starts the season on the IL. You know, that'll make somebody at least will have a job that might otherwise been released at that point. So we'll see what happens with it. But not good news. I don't really know what to think of Christian Haynes. I know there was a lot of excitement about him initially. He was a 3rd-round pick, I believe.
Yes.
So that represents a level of belief in what he's going to be, but I felt like he was sort of out of the mix in terms of the starters this season. That he was not going to win that job. So I don't know. We'll see what it means, and if he starts the season on the IL, I'm sure they still believe in his ability to be a contributor at this level. But it's good to hear that it's not overly serious or they're not overly concerned.
Yeah. Do you like Mike McDonald has kind of gone the Pete Carroll route, or all coaches, I guess, just naming the body part?
Oh,
he's got a peck.
He's got a foot. He's got an ankle.
What's
got a knee.
What's wrong? He's got a peck.
He's got a peck.
Oh, does he not usually? No. It's just a coach, the lingo, and that speak. But it is kind of funny. Yeah, the Pete Carroll always dropped that. He's got a foot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Oh, no. It's his foot injury. Okay.
Yeah, he's got a shoulder going on. It's his shoulder. So, yeah, we'll see what goes on with it. I mean, look, we talked about what became really clear in that game is they don't have a lot of depth. So he could be crucial if, somebody goes down, if, they lose one of the guards or, they got to shift guys around and he starts playing guard, somebody else gets moved over to tackle, Abe Lucas, the knee acts up again. Who knows? Anything can happen. It's football. So he's an asset to the team, certainly, and whether he's starting or not, we'll find out. But, yeah.
This is a big year for him, too, because this is year 3. It was that 2023 draft pick. So you want to see something, and then that final year, a year from now. And, you have big contract decisions with the 2022 class and then 2023 with Witherspoon and JSN. So big stretch here for Christian Haynes.
Yeah, and we haven't seen much.
Right.
He hasn't had a ton of run out there. So we'll see what this means to his season coming up. Meanwhile, what does our guy Jon Morosi think about the Mariners over the weekend? We'll get his thoughts on all of it coming up next. He's going to join us here with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
That roar coming from the corner of Edgar and Dave, it's different.
This place is electric when we get crowds like this.
The Mariners have T-Mobile rocking with playoff fever.
Cal Raleigh with his historic 49th home run of the year.
Tonight, it's the first of 3 between 2 teams locked in tight division battles. Mariners, Padres. First pitch at 6:40. Wyman and Bob take you up to pregame at 5:30 on Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Dave Wyman joined by another Swedish cyberknife patient to offer a glowing endorsement of their prostate cancer treatment. Tim Hunter, a lifelong local radio host, underwent Swedish cyberknife treatment for prostate cancer less than a year ago. How did you hear about Swedish cyberknife?
Well, it was this familiar-sounding voice on the radio telling me about it, and so I thought I'd investigate that. Everything I heard was what I wanted to hear, and so I reached out.
What's it like to go through the cyberknife treatment?
Well, you go in, you do a 5-day-in-a-row stint. You go to the Swedish hospital, and it's they say set aside 45 minutes for each treatment. It's really only about 35 minutes of that little robotic arm dancing around you. There's no pain involved. It's just a matter of listening to music in headphones and trying your best not to move.
Looking back on your Swedish cyberknife experience, what stood out?
It was too easy. It was just too easy. I went through it and I just went, that's it?
Treat prostate cancer with Swedish cyberknife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
When you own a business, it feels like everything's on you. Orders, deliveries, employees, on you. That's why Comcast Business is giving you a year of mobile on us with your internet service. Really? Yep. We'll cover your first line of mobile for 1 year. So calling customers, getting directions, texting Janine and shipping, on us. The broken coffee maker? That one's still on you. Which means you'll save hundreds for your business and get the fastest mobile service with 5G cellular and Wi-Fi hotspots on us. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Get a mobile plan and free up the budget to maybe, I don't know, fix that coffee maker? Get mobile on us for 1 year, you guessed it, on us. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 10/9/25. Restrictions apply. New mobile customers only with internet standard service or above. Limited to value of 1 unlimited intro line apply via 12 monthly internet bill credits. 1 discount per account. Fastest mobile based on mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data in service areas. Ookla Speed Test Intelligence 2H24.
You still have 40 million plus vehicles globally that are driving around with a potential ticking time bomb, a grenade in either their steering wheel or their dashboard. When we look to what injuries may have transpired from a defective airbag, we generally see loss of vision in an eye, or we see facial lacerations. We also see hearing loss. Unfortunately, we started seeing death after death after death. When that passenger airbag exploded, it basically degloved his entire face. He lost his nose, he lost his right eye. The type of catastrophic injuries that one is more accustomed to seeing in a Hollywood movie, and not something from a device in an automobile that's supposed to protect you. Morgan & Morgan has a national reach in terms of handling and prosecuting cases. Notwithstanding the team of lawyers that we have collected that focus only on product liability day in and day out.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the end of summer sale at AutoZone. We're celebrating the end of long days and short nights with big deals for a short time, like car wash. Right now, you can save 20% on the Armor All Complete Car Wash Kit. Need new brakes? Duralast brake pads are free with the purchase of Duralast rotors. We've also got oil deals and more. We're ending the summer right with the end of summer sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license, unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners and Padres, Game 1 of the series begins at 6:40. Pre-game coverage starts right here on Seattle Sports at the bottom of the hour, and the Mariners will face J.P. Sears for the 3rd time this season. First time as a Padre, though. He had been on the A's, part of that trade, along with Mason Miller. We're doing some wild card watching. The Red Sox and Orioles have gone back and forth. Red Sox just put up 3 runs in the top of the 5th. They lead 4-3 going to the 6th inning, and the Yankees are out to an early lead, 2-0 on the Nationals. They are headed to the 4th there in New York. Some NFL news. Trey Hendrickson has been essentially given a $14 million salary bump for this season. He's set to make $30 million this year. He'll still be a free agent after this season.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
I've never heard a person walk out of a stadium and say, wow, I wish that game would have included more weighting.
He is an endless source of baseball and hockey knowledge.
José Berríos, el lanzador de Puerto Rico en el Clásico Mundial de Béisbol.
Jon Morosi, every week with Wyman and Bob.
You're being serious with me right now?
Nobody can roll their R's like that guy, I tell you what. Look forward to this conversation every week. Here he is. If you're watching on the video stream, smiling ear to ear as he always is. He is our own personal ray of sunshine with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. The one, the only, Jon Morosi is here. How are you, man?
Bob and Mike, I'm outstanding. And, of course, longtime listeners of the show will remember that the Berríos drop that you hear was from the World Baseball Classic. And we are coming up now on the next WBC in March, so I have to make sure that my R's are being rolled in mid-season form a little earlier than usual. So I've got to make sure I get a lot of travel in and get ready and really in the vibe for the WBC. I was told a couple days ago Bo Bichette of the Jays, so Berrios' teammate, he is Brazilian-American, and he will be on the preliminary roster for Team Brazil at the WBC. And Brazil is actually the first team the U.S. will play in Houston. So we'll see. The U.S. was nearly defeated in their opener by Colombia back in 2017, and they went on to win the tournament. So the baseball world's a lot more competitive than you might think. So don't be surprised if the Brazilians give the U.S. a challenge there in the opener.
All right. Well, we'll keep our eye on Bo Bichette and Team Brazil, but let's talk Mariners. Let's talk about they bounced back nicely from what was just a disastrous road trip. The pitching was terrible on that road trip, and they came back, and all three starters, JP, gave up 1 run each. 1 run. And, I mean, Brian Wu continues a spectacular season, 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. You had Logan Gilbert with 13 strikeouts yesterday. George Kirby, he scuffled a bit, 3 walks, which is weird for him. He gives up 1 run. So that was great to see, and you beat an A's team, which is not record-wise a good team, but they are a team that is a problem. What was your takeaway?
They did what they had to do. And we spoke, Bob, a little before that series began, and we said very clearly, this is a series that you have to win. And they did. Now, they easily could have swept it, and at this time of year, you do want to get greedy and say, yeah, you probably should have won the Saturday game, and we could probably go back and forth on different decisions that were made.
Robles trying to bunt.
Right. The Robles bunt was not a great play. He stabbed at it late, and it didn't work, obviously.
Now, sorry to cut you off, but did you have a problem with them just bunting, period, in that situation, or just his mechanics of bunting there?
There were a couple things I didn't like. Number one, there was no Raley there, right? No Canzone. So there were options they could have gone with that never got a chance to get off the bench in that situation. So that's one thing. But secondarily, if the idea is to bunt, that's not a situation where you're bunting for a base hit. That's a situation where you square early. And again, the move on it was late. He stabbed at it late. I'm not a bunting coach, but we've all been around the game long enough to know when you're going to sacrifice, you sacrifice.
Yeah.
You square early, you get the bat head up, you make the right fundamental play, and you get the bunt down. The notion of a late movement like that, it's risky because of what happened, especially in the modern game. Now, granted, I can hear everybody saying, yeah, Morosi, you go up there and try to bunt that ball, and I get it. It's not easy. But what I do know is this. You got a lot better chance of bunting it the right way if you square early, you're giving yourself up as a sacrifice, and you get the bat head up and you drop it down. That's how it's supposed to be done. That's number one. So I didn't love the way that inning unfolded in general. I'm sure very few Mariner fans did.
Yeah.
But that, again, that was a game they could have won. It's hard to say should have won. I thought Ferguson didn't execute the breaking pitch there. It was the right pitch if you look at the metrics. He just left it up and he got burned. They lost the ball game. It's one that they could have won. Hard to say should have won, but certainly could have won. But in general, I thought overall we saw very good signs. And yesterday, Cal had the kind of day that is going to, if he wins the MVP, that's going to be on the highlight reel, right? He takes over sole possession of the record. And in a game the Mariners really needed to win ahead of a tough series, you had to win that game. And Cal Raleigh made darn sure that they did. So I think overall a lot to like for the Mariners. And I think we're going to know more. You know, that felt like they parred the hole last weekend. That's what you're supposed to do against the A's. Now, if they're able to win a series against the Padres, if they can win this series, I'll say, okay, now they're really back into it. They've got another lefty on the mound tonight. They have struggled in recent weeks against lefties. They were able to get the win against one yesterday. But let's see. A third straight lefty. Robles is back in there. This really feels like, guys, a show-me series here right before Labor Day.
John, what do you make of Robles being back? It seems like a very murky situation. No one seems to know exactly when and how this ruling will come down. I learned about the term abeyance over the weekend, which means, I guess, his ruling is in a state of suspension or they haven't heard it yet. But until then, what do you think about this move with those three lefties? And then do you have any insight about what and when something might happen with his ruling?
Yeah, Mike, it's a great question. And so what I'll say is this, and this is not any sort of inside knowledge about what the Mariners' plans are imminently to do with this, but it seemed pretty clear to me based on the move they made with Moore, when they activated him, the fact that they had 3 lefties in a row and they knew they wanted Robles' bat in the lineup. They clearly felt as though he was their best option, right, for this particular situation. So maybe at this moment in time, what some teams do, and I'm not saying they're definitely going to do this, but what some teams might do is you activate the player when you know you need him, when you're facing this series of lefties, and then you might announce tomorrow we're dropping the appeal, he's going to serve the 10 games. That could happen. And that is, again, there's the calculation there about what are your chances of actually it getting reduced. How long might it take to hear the situation? Again, they're probably going to hear it at some point in time in the next week or so, but every now and then you'll see a rather clever working of a team to say we really want the righty bat in there to face the 3 lefties right now, and then as soon as we get ready and finish with this stretch, we'll drop the appeal, accept the suspension. He serves the 10 games.
Do you think there's a reduction there? Since we don't really have precedent for this, so I've never seen it. We talked about it before. I don't. What do you think? That 2 games maybe they knock it down to 8, or do you see him going, no, you don't throw a bat, you're serving all 10?
I tend to think you're going to have to serve all 10. Again, it's because it's so unique, right? It's such a rare situation. You might go back, and it's interesting. There was the situation years ago, not at all the same thing. But when Manny Machado kind of flung the bat towards Donaldson, not the same thing, but that was somewhat recent. I just think that there are so few other recent cases, and you definitely want this to be a strong deterrent. And it's very difficult. It's just difficult to say, yeah, we're going to cut him some slack for throwing a bat at a pitcher. I mean, that is objectively one of the most dangerous things that can ever happen on a baseball field. And I just think that the optics of reducing the suspension, I don't think it's a terribly strong case. I think, honestly, if we're just being honest, I think he's fortunate that he only got 10, to be quite candid with you. So I think that the Mariners probably realized they really wanted the righty bat in there for these 3 games, and then maybe the prudent thing is to just accept it, move on, and figure out the roster from there.
John, everyone a buzz this morning here because you look at Fangraphs WAR, and Cal Raleigh is now tied with Aaron Judge, so both of them sitting there, 7.3 on Fangraphs in WAR. He has that home run record now for catchers. I know you have said at times, hey, it might be more of what the Mariners do to help Cal Raleigh's case as MVP compared to what the Yankees do and vice versa. But at this point, what do you think Cal Raleigh still needs to do in order to win the MVP?
He needs to keep doing what he's doing. I think if he then gets into the 50s in home runs and the Mariners make the playoffs, it's a pretty compelling case. If I had a ballot in front of me right now, I would vote for Cal Raleigh. He's the reason why they're in a playoff position. He catches all those innings. It's a hard staff to catch. I was talking actually about this with Logan Gilbert in Williamsport about how great Cal is and what a challenging staff it is. And Logan made the point, a lot of splitters, which you don't often see. So, there's all those inside baseball arguments that voters like me care about, and I've been a voter in this. I'm not this year, but I have been in the past. I just think that his case is getting better. Meanwhile, remember, the key thing that's happening with Judge is he's been a DH now for a considerable amount of time. And that is part of his value. A big part of the reason why when Judge was competing with Ohtani years ago, I said, listen, yeah, Ohtani pitches, but Judge plays center field. And he's hitting 62 homers while playing center field. When you're playing an up-the-middle defensive position, it is just simply one of the most valuable things you can do for your team. And also the number of times that Cal is in the lineup, even if he's the DH. His durability, the reliability, the production. This is what an MVP season looks like. And even yesterday was a moment within that. His team really needed a big game, and he delivered. So I think whatever wearing down might be going on, and I certainly think that's part of it. And his average isn't going to be – he's not going to have a Tony Gwynn batting average right now. It's not going to happen. But my point is he shouldn't have to because he's catching all the time. And he's hitting dang near 50 home runs at the moment. So I just think it's such a special year, and everything he's doing for the Mariners stands out in such a profound way. And again, right now, at least on a daily basis, Judge's defensive war, if you want to call it that, is not getting any bigger, right?
Yeah.
So he's flatlining with respect to his defensive value, while Cal's defensive value is one of the most important things you could do on a baseball field.
How does the voting work? You said you were a voter before. You're not this year. Does it rotate? And then how many voters are there? Then I guess third part, I shouldn't be asking three questions in one. Do you buy into the East Coast bias? That seems to be the rallying cry out here. Oh, East Coast bias. They're going to vote for the Yankee. They're going to vote for the guy that, is doing all the commercials and Cal's tucked up here in the corner of the U.S. Do you buy into any of that?
Don't buy the East Coast bias. If there was an East Coast bias, then Felix wouldn't have won the Cy Young 15 years ago, right? I mean, that's I think that's all history. And I will say this. Get ready, everybody. I'm going to surprise you. This is part of the good side of social media, right? It's not always a good side, but what I'll say is this. Our votes are public, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the Hall of Fame votes are not always public, but the annual votes are. And so everyone knows who voted for whom. That is public the day that it comes out. And so because of social media, which again has its flaws, clearly,
a few.
But when the vote comes out, if I voted for player X or Y or Z, I've got to answer for it. And this might shock everyone. Your Twitter mentions are actually not limited to your own local region, right? So you will hear from everyone, which is, again, I think in this case, a good thing. There was the funny story. I think I told you this story, but it's applicable here. I voted years ago for David Price over Verlander in the Cy Young vote and literally cost Verlander the Cy Young with that vote. This is something that David Price knew, and you better believe this is something Justin Verlander knew. And my grandpa at the time, God rest his soul, I said, Grandpa, I called him that night. I said, Grandpa, I think I cost Verlander the Cy Young. He said, well, son, did you believe in your vote? I said, well, hell yeah. I looked at this thing, 95 different ways, backwards and forwards, and David Price won the ERA title, pitched in the American League East against all those good and tough teams. He had to face the Red Sox and Yankees. Yeah, I feel really good about it. It's exactly what I should have done. He said, well, it's okay, son. It's a secret ballot anyway. I said, well, no, it's not. Everybody knows, man. I'm in trouble. I said, I think I might get uninvited to Thanksgiving. But I said, he said, well, you voted your conscience. I was like, well, thank you, Grandpa. I appreciate that. So in other words, so that's one little funny story about how it does weigh on you, and you really do think about it. I don't think the East Coast bias is a thing anymore. It does cycle through the chapter chairperson. In our case, it's the great Tom Gage, Hall of Famer from the Detroit News for many years. Tom will send out an email and say, hey, John, this year, how about you do manager and rookie of the year, which is what I'm doing this year, actually. And so I'll start studying that. I've said this before. I really think you shouldn't study too hard on that until like the middle of September if you're voting on it, because I don't want to be too skewed by what happened in the first 5.5 months. And this is a perfect example of why with Raleigh. Like if you thought for a long time it was Judge, and then all of a sudden Judge doesn't play defense anymore. It's not Aaron's fault, but the value keeps accumulating on Raleigh's side. Don't get yourself too boxed into a particular way of thinking. Allow yourself to have your mind convinced. So in this case, I'm not doing the MVP. The chapter chair decides it. There are 30 voters in all. So 15 American League cities, 2 voters per, and it's a great privilege. I like to, especially for the big ones, Cy Young and MVP. And by the way, I had the thought that Brian Woo's he'll get some Cy Young votes. I believe he's not going to maybe get 1 or 2 first place, second place. I think that's going to be a lot of Scooble and Crochet, but he's top 5. I think for me in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
I just kind of wanted to throw that out there, but I enjoy the vote. It's a lot of fun. It's a challenge to do, a lot of research, a lot of talking to people, and that work for me will really get started here in the next couple weeks.
JP, I can't believe you voted for Y over Z. Everyone knows player
right.
Z.
I mean, it's 100%. It's believe me, there were some tough ballots that I had to cast. I remember one time I voted for Elvis Andrus. I voted for Elvis Andrus over Rick Porcello for the Rookie of the Year in 2009. And I think Andrew Bailey won it. And, again, I voted against the Detroit guy, and I felt like at some point in time they're going to stop giving me the ballot if they're afraid that I'm not going to automatically vote for the Tigers. But, again, that's the way you used to think about things 20 years ago. Hey, like, throw your hometown guy a vote.
Yeah.
But you don't do that anymore. It's a different world, and I think it's better in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I remember when you voted for Manager of the Year.
Last of the best. Last of the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still did bring that up. John, we've seen Emerson Hancock now, 2 relief outings. Yesterday, he hit 99 in a relief appearance. We've talked about this bullpen. Do you think for the Mariners, this is kind of still the most unsettled part of the team, and what impact could, assuming Emerson Hancock does come up in that bullpen role, have on this team?
Yeah, I agree. I do think it's the part that's unsettled now, and I think if you've got a chance to bring in that power arm, you do it. And too, he's going to be able to, ideally because of his training as a starter, give you multiple innings. He should be able to. And this is where you think about the way the Tigers utilized Jackson Jobe last year down the stretch and in the playoffs. I'd like to see him in that bridge role where probably Dan Wilson will know ahead of time, okay, this is a day when you're likely to get in the game, maybe give him a little more time to get ready and say, here's a day where you're likely to go. Maybe you like the matchup, a particular lane of the other team's lineup. But I think he can clearly help. And you're going to see in this series against the Padres why they're so dangerous and why their bullpen is so great is that basically Mike Schilt can go alternating days where one day he's got Jason Adam and Suarez, and the next day he's got Mason Miller to close with Estrada before him. David Morgan's really good and really underrated. So he can almost toggle his guys so that way somebody's always fresh. And almost no one can do that. The Dodgers, when they're all fully healthy, can probably do that, but really no one else can. And so the Mariners are going to see up close what an absolute procession of just dominance the Padres have. And that's the standard right now. That's the team that you're probably going to have to at some point in time, and we'll see if anybody in the National League can get through them and actually knock them out. But the Mariners don't have that, is what I'm saying. And anybody that gets you a little closer to having that, and if Hancock, because of his ability to go multiple innings, if he saves you from having to use a Matt Brash on a Monday, and then Brash is available for a significant portion of Tuesday, that's a huge value. And I think I think he can handle the pressure of the playoffs. I believe he can. But that, to me, is going to be the huge question for the Mariners is, can you get multiple innings? And then does that buy you additional rest for your other guys? Because the postseason becomes a contest of how many games can you win while using as few pitchers as you possibly can, because it becomes that relay race that you're focused on for the long haul. It's the sprint. It's the marathon all at once. That's why the playoffs are so much fun.
JP, always fantastic stuff. We appreciate you, my friend. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk next week.
Sounds great, guys. Looking forward to it again. The series of all of baseball, as far as I'm concerned right now, is happening in Seattle. So enjoy. This is going to be a fun team. A lot of superstars on both sides.
Love it. Love it. Appreciate you, John.
Thank you.
Thanks,
so
JP.
much, guys.
There you go. There's Jon Morosi with us each and every week. If you guys didn't catch all of that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab. Scroll down our picture, click on that, and it's right there waiting for you. Meanwhile, the Seahawks are kicking off the regular season next weekend. Today's the last day you can enter to win 4 tickets to watch the Seahawks game on September 7th against the San Francisco 49ers. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. It's in the lower right-hand corner. If you don't already have the app, just text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776. We'll send you a link to download it. It's completely free. And it's still working, right, Lefko? Because we had somebody texting in saying, hey, it's not working, it's expired. And you tried it,
I don't know.
and
Depends
it
on the phone, I think. So,
well, you just tried it, what?
It works on my phone.
15 minutes ago?
You might have different browser settings or whatnot, but just refresh, make sure your app's updated. I'm not a developer, so that's all my recommendations.
But you just tried it and it works.
I just tried it. It works.
Okay. And that was, what,
at least
15
for today.
minutes ago?
Today's the last day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So there you go. So that might be operator error or something, your phone, your browser, whatever. So check that out. Meanwhile, the Mariners hosting the Padres, game 1 tonight at T-Mobile Park, and the roof will most certainly be open. It is sunny. It is really warm out there, so that it is a perfect night for baseball. That's the Mariners Roof Report, brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. So we got game 1. It's this is a test.
It's a challenging lineup, the Padres.
Yeah. Well, and you got Bryce. You don't know what you're getting out of Bryce Miller. How far along is he? Does he feel like I'm as good as I've ever been? I'm not quite there, but I can grind it out. How is he feeling?
Yeah.
He had some good moment. The last start was not awesome. It was 5 innings, 4 runs. That's not a great start. It wasn't brutal, but he's been better. I mean, this is the guy that had 31 starts last year, sub-3 ERA. So we know he's capable of being dominant. Is he physically able to, though, is the question.
Yeah, and I think you'll need your lineup to come through again. It's not going to be a series where you can say, well, look, if they score 1 run, our lineup will be fine scoring 2. This might be similar to a Phillies situation. They're going to score 3 to 4 runs or 4 to 5. If your lineup does what they did yesterday, a lot of reason to feel confident in that.
Yeah. Are you confident in a series win?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Mariners are playing well at home. It all depends on that lineup. I know we just talked a lot about Bryce Miller, but the Mariners are going to have to out-hit, I think, the Padres in this one. So if the middle comes through like they did yesterday, I'm not going to expect Cal to go all out. But, hey, you need consistent production. If they do what they did last homestand, they can get it done.
He should hit at least 2 home runs in this game.
That's what you predicted. You predicted 2 for at least the Padres, the A's series, so maybe it's still coming.
I thought he'd get 1 in the A's series and they get one or 2 in this series. So hopefully he backs up my prediction, but we'll see. Game 1 coming your way. Pre-game show coming up. Our thanks to Ryan, Rowland-Smith, and Jon Morosi for joining us on the program. If you guys missed anything from the show today or any day, just head to seattlesports.com and click that podcast tab. Scroll down to our picture, click on that. Anything you missed is waiting for you right there each and every day. Again, pre-game show coming up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here with Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
Historical. Are you buying it? You like that?
Historical. Brock and Salk.
It sounds too much like Dangerous. That's my problem.
Morning 6 to 10.
Can you get to 54 to tie Mickey Mantle or pass him at 55 for switch hitting home runs in a season? Can you get to 56 or 57 to tie or pass Junior?
For me, it would be Griffey. Hitting in the Kingdome for those years, a totally different era from pitching. I think even Ken would go, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Only on Seattle Sports.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. Today, you're going to pay down your credit card bill. But you decide when you'll pay it. Before the due date, so those interest charges don't get you. But you decide if you pay it in full. But you definitely should, because again, interest charges. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer. You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Your car steering wheel could be a ticking time bomb. At least 24 people have died and many more injured because their airbags fired shrapnel at them upon inflating. Tens of millions of cars have been recalled. If you suffered cuts that required stitches, hearing or vision loss, or broken bones, please contact us today. You could be owed money for medical bills and other damages.
Morgan & Morgan. Visit us at badairbags.com for an office near you. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. Not a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
It's back to school time again, and parents are pretty stressed out.
Can you blame us? The supply list, the sign-ups, the scheduling.
At least haircuts are easy at Great Clips.
It's true. With the Great Clips app, I checked him in before we left home, so we were in and out in no time.
I got a great haircut, and Mom got to check something off the to-do list. She really loves that.
Back to school can be a lot, but haircuts are easy at Great Clips. Download the app today.
Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This is Mariners baseball on Seattle Sports.
Take every game with you on the go by downloading the Seattle Sports app.
710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD